everyone, to ESPN's presentation of the 2009 Chick-fil-A Bowl, which is sold out for the 13th consecutive year. More than 70,000 fans jammed inside the Georgia Dome to watch number 11 Virginia Tech close out the season against Tennessee. Hi, everybody, and welcome. I'm Sean McDonough, along with Matt Millen. Delighted to have you with us as we ring in the new year with a game that has become one of college football's best bowl games annually, and two teams that are separated by only 3.5 hours. But it's just their second meeting since World War II. And, Matt, both of them are hot as they come in. Virginia Tech has won 4 in a row. They're 9-3. They want to win that 10th game for the 6th year in a row. And a big fellow who's helping them do it is Ryan Williams.
Yeah, if they're going to win tonight, Ryan Williams, the freshman, is going to have a big game. And he's the top rusher, as you said, in the ACC, but he's one of the top running backs in the NCAA. And he does it a variety of different ways. This guy is really tough to bring down. After contact, he gets better. He can catch the ball out of the backfield. He's good in the open space, but he runs with vision. And he's going to have to do that because I would expect the aforementioned Eric Berry is going to be down in the box trying to stop him along. And if they do that, Tyrod Taylor is the guy, the quarterback, who's going to have to be able to come up big. From the halfway season on, this kid has got nothing but get better and better, and he does it a variety of ways. He can beat you with his arm, he can beat you with his leg, and the most important part, he creates with his feet, and then his eyes go down the field. Look for a big game in play action from Tyrod Taylor.
He's had a terrific season, and Ryan Williams needs just 110 yards rushing tonight to break Kevin Williams' Virginia Tech single-season rushing record. And here come the Hokies. Frank Beamer says he takes enormous pride in the 17 years in a row in which the Hokies have played in a bowl game. They have become one of the consistently excellent programs in college football. And tonight, Tennessee returns to bowl action after a season out of bowl play. And they have a running back tonight who has the chance to set the school record for a single season in rushing. Montario Hardesty needs 159 to break Travis Stevens' record.
And he's a good one. And it's very similar to Ryan Williams. Very good between the tackles. He's very strong. Catches the ball well. Has very good vision. They will rely heavily on him to be able to get that job done. And if, in fact, I expect them to stack the box as well and try to take him out of that. Jonathan Crompton, the quarterback for Tennessee, here's the guy who's going to have to come up big. From the 4th game on, this kid has played lights out. He's been smarter with the football, makes excellent decisions. He's going to have to do both those things tonight if they're going to get a win.
As the Tennessee coaches said earlier in the year, the fans wanted to run Crompton out of town. At the end of the year, they were promoting him for the Heisman. Virginia Tech and Tennessee, the kickoff from Atlanta after this. Back inside the Georgia Dome for Virginia Tech and Tennessee in the Chick-fil-A Bowl. University of Tennessee in Knoxville and Virginia Tech located in Blacksburg, Virginia. They're only 233 miles apart. Frank Beamer tells us you can make that drive in about 3.5 hours. And for both fan bases, a relatively easy trip down to Atlanta. And the Virginia Tech folks know the way. This is the 3rd game this year the Hokies have played in the city of Atlanta. Just the 8th meeting all time. They first met back in 1896. And the last time they played was in the Gator Bowl in Gainesville, Florida. Tennessee prevailed 45-23. Peyton Manning was a freshman quarterback in that game. Down on the field, here's Holly Rowe.
Well, Sean, as many college football fans know, Virginia Tech is known for their special teams, or what they like to call Beamer ball. So it's a huge concern for Tennessee's Lane Kiffin tonight that they're without their special teams coach, who took another job about a month ago. He stayed and put together a plan, but it's an area that they've had concern in all season long. They've had particular problems in the place-kicking game. They're normally steady. Daniel Lincoln started to struggle after an injury and is down to just 62%. Plus, the team has had 4 kicks blocked. So in walks a walk-on, Devin Mathis, 2 games with the final season left, and he's also Jonathan Crompton's roommate and says, hey, I think I can help the team. So he may be kicking tonight, guys. He's 100% in the 2 games he appeared in. Pretty amazing since he hasn't kicked since high school till this season, and now he'll be doing it tonight against Beamer Ball.
And Lane Kiffin says they might go for it on 4th downs rather than kick field goals because of the problems with kicking this year, which Lane termed a disaster. Tennessee won the toss and deferred. So Tennessee will kick off. Virginia Tech elected to take the football. Tyrell Roberts back deep. For the season opener in this building against Alabama, he returned one 98 yards for a touchdown. And he's one of the best in the nation in kickoff returns, as you saw. And the Chick-fil-A Bowl is underway. Daniel Lincoln kicked off. Tyrell Roberts from the goal line. And a good special teams coverage. It looked like Roberts was going to find a seam along the hash marks, but Rod Wilkes tripped him up after a 25-yard return. So here come the Hokies, led by Tyrod Taylor, 22-5, as the starting quarterback. And one of those losses was a game against Florida State in which he played only 1 play and was injured, but gets charged with the loss. Coaches feel he took a big step forward early in this year when he led a last-minute comeback against Nebraska in Game 3 of the season. His confidence took off thereafter. And he'll open in the shotgun. Danny Cole went in motion. Ryan Williams for a yard, and that's all. Rico McCoy, the leading tackler for Tennessee, with his 113th of the season. Here's the rest of the Virginia Tech offense, averaging 31.5 points per game. Danny Cole and Jarrett Boykin are the starting wide receivers, and Greg Boone, second team all-conference tight end. Big and veteran offensive line. On the left side, Wang making his 37th career start, and Sergio Render his 52nd. Both were second team all ACC.
Well, if Virginia Tech's going to run the ball, those inside 3 have to play well. Tennessee has 2 very good defensive tackles.
There's Williams again, tackled by Chris Walker. After a gain of 2 more, it'll be 3rd down and 7. Tennessee defensively in their first year under legendary coordinator Monty Kiffin. Most of the pass rush comes from Chris Walker. He has a team high 6 sacks. They have only 20 sacks as a team. McCoy needs 15 tackles tonight to finish his career in the top 5 all-time at Tennessee. He said that's a major goal tonight, and it's likely the last game of his career for Eric Berry, the junior, from nearby Fairburn, Georgia, in suburban Atlanta. Likely to head to the NFL and be a very high pick. On 3rd down, good throw and a catch. Jarrett Boykin, his team high 37th catch of the year. And it's good for a 7-yard gain and a 1st down just beyond the marker.
You know, Sean, what we said just in the open, that it's probably going to come down to the shoulders right there of Tyrod Taylor. And he has gotten better and better as the season's gone on. And you mentioned the Nebraska game. And it was a big game. It was a last-second win. And he really grew with confidence. He steps now. Steps are excellent. He stays level in the pocket. The ball comes out like you just saw, tuned for a 1st down.
Yeah, it looked like they were doomed to lose that game against Nebraska early in the year in Blacksburg. They had done very little all day on offense before Taylor led that dramatic drive in the last couple of moments. Ryan Williams tackled by Herman Lathers. And here's a look back at it after an 81-yard pass play to Danny Cole. Got them to the 11-yard line. Taylor for nearly 10 seconds scrambling. And he found Tyrell Roberts for the game-winning touchdown. That was a game dominated by Ndamukong Suh of Nebraska for much of it. But Taylor made the plays that mattered most at the end.
Of course, Ndamukong Suh will probably be, he might be the top pick in the draft. And he played that way the whole season.
2nd down and 4. Running right, Williams, and he is shirt tackled by the freshman Lathers. He's a key to this game. He's a true freshman middle linebacker. They've had injuries to their top 2 middle linebackers this season, so they're going with the very inexperienced Lathers, trying to make the calls for a defense that's all new for these players this year under Monty Kiffin.
And he can get those things down. You can always get help with calls, but you can't get help with the physical side of it. And he has those abilities. His biggest thing, as you look at him, he's just a freshman. is the fact that he needs experience. That's all. He has to start believing his eyes.
3rd down and 4, just underway. Taylor. And his pass is batted down. Looked like it was Montori Hughes in the middle of that defensive line. Another true freshman. He's from Murfreesboro, Tennessee.
And a good one. And this is another good. Montario Hughes is a guy who's a big, powerful guy. Just has the presence to be able to get his hands up and knock it down. They did a good job of taking care of protection, but Hughes got his hands up.
So Virginia Tech will punt. Brent Bowden, the punter, leads the ACC just under 44 yards per punt, and Dennis Rogan is back deep. Movement along the line of scrimmage, and it'll be against the Hokies.
Looks like Greg Boone moved.
False start on the offense, number 8. The 5-yard penalty, and it remains 4th down.
And that's something that will drive Frank Beamer crazy, because he personally runs all the special teams practices, and they take great pride down in Virginia Tech with their special teams.
23rd season as head coach at his alma mater. There's a fine player at Virginia Tech. 3-year starter at cornerback is number 25 retired. He's been the best coach in the history of the school, and he's becoming one of the best coaches in the history of the sport. Bowden, an excellent punt, and a fair catch signaled by Rogan at the 11-yard line. That's why Bowden was first team all ACC this year. 51-yard punt and no return. So the first chance with the ball for Tennessee, and the final game for the senior Jonathan Crompton. We spoke with him yesterday, used the word rocky to describe his career, but he's played his best football here in the second half of his senior season. Said he finally felt comfortable in this Lane Kiffin offense. It's been one offense after another with numerous quarterback coach and offensive coordinator changes during his career. They open in the eye with Montario Hardesty, the tailback. And he gets the call. Out to the 15-yard line. Hardesty's averaging 109 rushing yards per game. With Kevin Cooper in the backfield with him. Their deep threat is Denarius Moore. They do not have a lot of playmakers at wide receiver, and Luke Stocker is a fine tight end. Veteran offensive line. Frank Beamer says he was very impressed by the 4 seniors. And a key tonight is that redshirt freshman Aaron Douglas at right tackle. He'll be matched up against Jason Worlds, one of the best defensive ends in the country. That might be a lateral. Caught by Denarius Moore. And he stopped very near the first down marker by Cam Chancellor, a senior safety for Virginia Tech.
You know, it's fun for me to watch this Tennessee offense, because you see all the West Coast principles in play, and that goes back to Lane Kiffin. And I think when we start talking about Crompton, and you see how it took him some time, and every system takes time to learn and get comfortable with. But as this season got on, he got very comfortable with Lane Kiffin, and Lane Kiffin got comfortable with him.
Jim Chaney, the offensive coordinator, said you could see Crompton's confidence take off mid-season against Auburn and Georgia. They were on the wrong page there. Moore streaking down the sideline. Crompton thought he was going to hook it up, and it'll be 2nd and 10.
Now, you mentioned it right. It was Moore. Denarius Moore is the one guy in this receiving corps who has some speed. And both these defenses, Virginia Tech and Tennessee, they do not want to give up big plays. They will not let you get deep on them. And so it's incumbent upon each offense to try to take a shot to loosen them up early.
Crompton out of Asheville, North Carolina. That's an easy drive to Atlanta. He has a lot of friends and family here, and they watch him throw an interception. Picked off by Rashad Carmichael, who brought it back to the 43-yard line of Tennessee. Gerald Jones made the tackle, and that's a rare mistake in the second half of the season for Jonathan Crompton.
Yeah, he was trying to hit Jones right down the seam, and the ball just took off on him. Carmichael was playing center field, a very easy read. He just sit right in the middle of the field. You're going to watch. Remember we said, don't get beat deep. He's trying to hit down the middle. And he messed me up, too. But Carmichael didn't get messed up. And he was the one who was reading the quarterback's eyes the whole time. You can see him over the top.
His team leading 6th interception of the season. Taylor wants to capitalize quickly, and he's on target to Jared Boykin, who is spun down inside the 25 by Rico McCoy.
Boy, that's a nice call by Virginia Tech, and that's Steinspring, the offensive coordinator. He goes right to it. He has excellent protection, and then it's just step and throw. The outside routes are the easiest one for a quarterback to be able to see. And that's one right there that he just capitalized with Boykin right away.
Boykin's a sophomore. That was good for a 20-yard gain. A momentary delay as they move the chains. It'll be first down at the 24-yard line. Just more than 5 minutes gone by.
Right here, see that guy right there? That's big Dan Williams. That's the key to their inside.
He's had a terrific senior season. Played his way into a high NFL draft pick. And Ryan Williams bounces ahead for a couple. Rico McCoy in there again. So he's off to a good start in his quest for those 15 tackles he needs to get into the top 5 all-time at Tennessee. Started tonight with 343 career tackles, 10th all-time in Knoxville.
You know, I've always said that the best linebackers are former running backs. And the reason I say that is because you have to have the same vision as a linebacker as you do as a running back. Because you're anticipating things, anticipating cuts and holes. Rico does that very well.
Williams went in motion, and they throw it to him in the flat. Nice move out there, and he broke a tackle to get very near a first down at the 15-yard line. He's about a yard shy.
You know, this is one of the guys that you and I had the pleasure of watching these guys early in the season. And Ryan Williams is just, he's gotten better and better and better. More comfortable. Well, you can see that's Rico McCoy. We were just talking about the linebacker.
Well, that would be a huge loss to the Tennessee defense if he cannot come back. Their leading tackler. He's forced 5 fumbles this season to lead the SEC. Senior playing in his last game, and with the injuries they've had at linebacker all year long, they can't afford one to him.
Yeah, just coming inside out, and it looked like he just caught the top of his shoulder with his head there, getting in on the tackle. Yeah, they've had a bunch, like you've said, Sean, they've had a bunch of injuries there, and he has been one of the steadies and the constants, and they need that. And he also provides a lot of leadership on the field, which when you're losing your middle guy, that hurts.
I wonder if that might be a stinger, the way he went into that pile and then seemed to be dangling his right arm at his side. 3rd down and 1. Williams has room outside. Great cut to get inside the 10 and down to the 5. Herman Lathers made the tackle. 1st and goal, Virginia Tech, a 10-yard run.
You know, we've watched a lot of good running backs this year, and there are some good ones out there. But this kid here, just a redshirt freshman, he's got a lot of the qualities that you look for to be one of the great ones. He's got excellent power, good vision. He has a nose for the ball. He's a good football player all the way around.
And here he comes again, a short gain, perhaps a yard, and then Ben Martin took him down. And he wasn't going to be their starting running back in the summer. They had a returning star, Darren Evans, who ran for more than 1,000 as a freshman last year, but he tore his left ACL in mid-August. So Williams, who redshirted last season, became the featured back, and he's had one of the best seasons in Virginia Tech history.
Heck, he's closing in on Kevin Jones' record.
He's the ACC Player of the Year, and he's down to the goal line and just shy. They'll mark him inches from the end zone.
Sean, that's a great example of what he does right there. They start to the left, they're trying to stretch it. He's very comfortable with this. And then you'll see him stick his left foot in the ground and be decisive right there and just come straight downhill. That is his ability to be decisive and also read things quick. That's what sets him above. And he's a physical kid. Can you tell me I like him?
206, as Frank Beamer said, he can run over you, he can run away from you. And he's become much better this year in pass protection. That was a weakness last year and one of the reasons he redshirted. Following Kenny Jefferson, the fullback, into the end zone. Touchdown, Hokies.
And that's also smart play calling. They stayed away from big Dan Williams on the inside and tried to attack that edge. It's a read that he's very comfortable with. It's an outside zone, and he has gotten better and better as the year has gone on.
And he is setting record after record now here in the late season. Matt Waldron on to add the extra point. And it's 7-0 Virginia Tech. 21st touchdown of the season for Ryan Williams, his 20th on the ground. Both are ACC records.
Let me hear you say, jackpot, what?
Ryan Williams, a 1-yard touchdown run, capping a 44-yard 7-play drive after the Rashad Carmichael interception. And the touchdown for Ryan Williams, the 21st of the season. That is the single season ACC record. He was tied with Don McCauley, who had 21 total touchdowns in 1970 for North Carolina. The 20 rushing touchdowns is the record for the ACC all by himself. Justin Meyer kicks off. Eric Berry is among the deep men, and he'll get a chance. They just put him back deep in the regular season finale to bring back kickoffs, trying to get more playmaking ability. And he was tripped up by a special team standout, Matt Reedy, at the 25. Here's Holly.
During that last drive, as Virginia Tech moved the ball so successfully on the ground, Tennessee. In fact, Wes Brown, their starting defensive tackle, has been over here on the sideline, almost retching. Does not look good. I don't know if he'll be able to return. And Rico McCoy, you saw, got injured. They've examined his left arm, particularly his left wrist that he already had taped up. Not sure if he'll be able to return either, guys. We'll let you know.
And McCoy went to the dressing room moments ago. So here's Tennessee for the second time. They turned it over in their first possession, and it led to a Tech score. Montario Hardesty for 5. Now Virginia Tech on defense. Again, one of the best defensive units in the country. Stout up front, Jason Worlds, the junior, second team all-conference player. Barkwell Rivers and Cody Grimm are tacklers 2 and 1 on the team respectively. And in the secondary, they were without Stephon Virgil, a 2-year starter. Academically ineligible Chris Hill has stepped in as his replacement tonight. Hardesty stopped for a loss. Lost 2. Great penetration up front by the Hokies. Barkwell Rivers with his 95th tackle of the year.
Well, they were coming with pressure off the side, and they're slanting everybody. And here comes Rivers. Rivers to the inside. Nobody blocked and picked it up. And this is just a Bud Foster call. It's a down and distance call, and it's a run blitz of sorts. And they're bringing the strong safety, Cody Grimm. Rivers makes the play.
Their rushing defense was a problem early in the year. They got better lately, but they're still only 52nd in the country against the run, giving up 139 yards per game rushing. 3rd and 7. Quick pass, and it's through the hands of Denarius Moore. And you can tell that Tennessee is a little rattled playing against this Virginia Tech defense with the great reputation.
Well, part of that reputation with Bud Foster is how he uses Cody Grimm. Cody Grimm is one of those guys who, is he a linebacker? Is he a strong safety? He runs well. He makes plays. He blitzes. You have to account for him.
Chad Cunningham punts, and it's a good one. Will J-Ron Hosley back inside the 20. Now he has some room. Hank Beamer's been disappointed by the punt return game this season. Not that time. Nice run back. Jansen Jackson made the tackle. 54-yard punt, 23-yard return, and a timeout in Atlanta. Teams have had a great week in Atlanta, including a visit on Sunday to the Georgia Aquarium, which opened in 2005. It's the world's largest, with more than 8 million gallons of water, and the only beluga whale exhibit in the world.
Thought I looked familiar.
There was a block in the back against Virginia Tech on the punt return, so the ball back to the 31. And Tyrod Taylor rolls out on 1st down and fires a bullet to Dyrell Roberts. First down, 12-yard catch. Actually, they're going to move it even further up the field now. 14-yard catch to the 45-yard line, and then Dennis Rogan made the tackle.
You know, Sean, we watched this Virginia Tech team early, and you could see a big difference in Tyrod Taylor. And just sitting with them yesterday, had a chance. He's more relaxed. He's more confident in what they're doing. I tell you, this kid, next year, he's going to have a fantastic year because the foundation that he's laid right now is as good as there is.
So he's starting to get comfortable near the end of the year with this relatively young receiving group. Williams, the ball carrier for 4 more. Taylor is 4 out of 5 passing for 47 yards.
Well, he's, like you said, he's comfortable, but you mentioned it. It's a young receiving core, and it takes time for everybody to get on the same page. Man, he's throwing the ball really well right now.
Second down, 6. A lot of time in the pocket, and another strike and another first down. It's Marcus Davis, a freshman, just his 5th catch of the year. Good for 10 yards, and they're into Tennessee territory at the 41-yard line.
Watch this. Here's your key right there. That is an excellent job of managing the pocket, getting the protection. Nice job of Bo Warren right there on Dan Williams, and then just stepping so he can find a throwing lane. And boy, he's throwing strikes right now.
Early in the year, he struggled with the idea of when to hang in the pocket, wait for receiver to come open, when to pull it down and run. He has great running ability, and Brian Steinspring says he's managed that decision much better as the years progress. Williams dropped for a loss. That time the Vols won the battle up front. It's another tackle for the freshman middle linebacker Herman Lathers, and a loss of 3.
Yeah, and this is the good decisiveness that you want to see out of your middle linebacker. He reads it, just works off the center, and then finds the open hole. It's the same thing the running back's trying to do. He fills that hole very nicely. Not a big guy, runs pretty well. He's best when he's decisive. That's when he plays his best football.
Despite the injuries at linebacker, Tennessee's 18th in the country in total defense. David Wilson, another freshman, true freshman out of Danville, Virginia, carries down to the 41-yard line, and that'll set up a 3rd down and either a short 10 or a long 9. Take your pick.
Well, that David Wilson, that kid's a freak. He's a cartoon. Watch him at practice. He will run a play and go through the motions and then stop in the middle of the play and run it backwards just like you'd be doing it on tape. It looks like a cartoon. He's very, very talented guy.
Well, backpedals back to the huddle, almost as if you were winding a tape back. Time called just before the ball was snapped. Virginia Tech's coaches didn't like the alignment, and Frank Beamer got the timeout just before the snap.
That's their
We'll talk about the 3rd down and 9 with 2:11 to go in the first quarter, and the Hokies leading 7-0.
You have got to be kidding me.
He's going to jump a car out in Long Beach, California, over a barge, over a lot of water, a long distance.
Holy smokes.
Well, that's tonight right after our game. We will stay tuned for that. Here's 3rd down and 9. Ryan Williams is having his ankle taped on the sideline. Tyrod Taylor pulls it down and runs and won't get the first down. Swung down at the 37-yard line by Dan Williams. And here's Holly Rowe.
Well, guys, they sure could have used their back, Ryan Williams, right there. He has been seen on the sideline here for a twisted left ankle. They've retaped him. They've put a new heavy-duty brace on him. But I can tell you, when Coach Beamer walked by, Ryan said, I'm fine, I'm fine. But when they just tried to put his shoe back on, he was wincing pretty good. Now they're going to tape over his shoe. He's going to try to return, guys, but that can be a big factor for Virginia Tech tonight.
If there's any way that he's gonna play. I mean, just knowing the character of that kid and getting to know him how we've gotten to know him, he'll play.
4th and 6. They're going to punt. Brent Bowden trying to angle it for the corner. And it takes a soft bounce sideways out of bounds near the 10-yard line. And Virginia Tech trying to win one for the ACC. This is an annual ACC-SEC battle, and the SEC has won the last 4 last year. LSU routed hometown Georgia Tech here in Atlanta. Auburn over Clemson. Georgia beat Virginia Tech in 2006. And of course, LSU hammered Miami in 2005. The Domes haven't been very good to Frank Beamer. His team has lost their last 6 games in dome stadiums. They haven't won at a dome since they beat Syracuse in the fabulous Carrier Dome in 2000.
Fabulous, eh?
One of the great wonders of the world, the Carrier Dome. Beautiful Central New York. Prompted out of the end zone, throws it short, and it'll be a loss on the play. Hardesty caught it, and John Graves caught him. They'll mark it at the 7 for a loss of 3.
Graves was able to get out there because Crompton just took a little bit too long. Screens are all about timing. You're going to watch this timing here, and Graves is going to smell it right inside. He sees it, and he's able to get to it from the backside. Worlds gets the pressure. Got to get rid of that ball just a tad sooner.
Tennessee really scuffling on offense. First game for both of these teams since November 28th, more than a month since these two teams closed out the regular season. Hardesty for a yard, and that's it. Tennessee closed with a dramatic overtime win at Kentucky to earn their spot in this prestigious bowl game. And Virginia Tech closed out the regular season with its 4th win in a row over their arch rivals Virginia and Charlottesville.
You know, watching the tape of both these teams, I thought that Tennessee would struggle a little bit against this Virginia Tech defensive front. And if they were going to have success, they were going to have to run the edges. Their inside 3 guys don't match up real well with Graves and Thompson of Virginia Tech.
Well, your expectations have been realized so far. Lane Kiffin's team ran 9 plays for a total of 13 yards, and they had 1 turnover. They're down 7-0 at the end of 1 in Atlanta. And the champion of this Chick-fil-A Bowl will receive the George Crumbley Trophy, named in honor of the founder of this great bowl game, founded as the Peach Bowl back in the 1960s. Renamed the Chick-fil-A Bowl in 2005, and it has become one of the best bowl games on the annual calendar. Lane Kiffin said to him, this is as good as any BCS bowl game that he has been to. For the hospitality and atmosphere, this great facility, one of the great bowl organizations in the country. And Hardesty's dropped for a loss. They continue to go in reverse. The Tennessee offense, Jason Worlds and Lindell Gibson combined on the stop, and a very conservative play call there on 3rd down and 11.
Yeah, they're just trying to move in the outside, but what they don't move is the middle backer. You're going to watch right there. Just does another very good job. That's Lindell Gibson. This defense has gotten better with the addition of Gibson in the middle.
Chad Cunningham punts out of the end zone. It's a short one. J-Ron Hosley called for a fair catch and regrets it. There wasn't an orange shirt all that near him. 39-yard punt. Virginia Tech opened the season here in the Georgia Dome. The Chick-fil-A kickoff game, lost to Alabama. Both teams were in the top 10 in the country at the time, but they rallied with 5 straight victories, including wins over Nebraska and Miami. That got them back into the top 10. But then the biggest disappointments of the season, back-to-back losses to Georgia Tech and North Carolina that really took them out of contention for the ACC title. And Frank Beamer said he was very proud of the character his team showed in winning the last 4 to put them in position to win 10 games with a win tonight. That would happen for the 6th year in a row.
Ryan Williams back in.
And Tyrod Taylor's airing it out, looking for Cole, and he has it. Over the shoulder catch. And they'll mark it at the 4-yard line. Art Evans nearby in coverage, but it's a 42-yard gain.
You cannot throw a better ball than Tyrod Taylor threw right there. And Crow did an excellent job. Danny Cole did a nice job of giving the ball, giving the quarterback some room for the ball to come in. He'll keep the sideline, and he gives himself a buffer. See how he's pushing it? And the ball is thrown absolutely perfectly.
They come out quickly, and they toss it to Ryan Williams. He's in trouble and did not get back to the line of scrimmage. He might have with the lunge at the end. Chris Walker made the tackle. Of course, it was Danny Cole who made another of the big plays of that Virginia Tech season, the 81-yard catch that got them down into the red zone to pull out that game in the final seconds against Nebraska.
Well, the way he ran that route was picture perfect. You get the guy on your hip, and then you force him back inside and give some space for that quarterback to throw it.
High formation with Ryan Williams, the tailback. Taylor faked and then throws incomplete. Looking for Andre Smith, the backup tight end in the middle of the end zone.
And the guy who was covering right there was Eric Berry, and he was kind of waiting on it. He had excellent position, and he stayed on that hip, and he was just waiting for the ball. Tyrod did a nice job. The only place he could have thrown was low and inside or up high. He chose high, and the incompletion's better than trying to take a shot with Berry having to play on.
Rico McCoy back on the field for Tennessee. The outstanding linebacker.
Looks like that left wrist is heavily bandaged.
3rd down and goal from the 4. Virginia Tech trying to add to a 7-0 lead. Taylor under duress. Sidestepped the rush for a while, but could not escape completely. Flag down. Ben Martin had the tackle, and the flag was thrown right where the tackle was made. Ball fans afraid of a face mask penalty.
They came with a blitz. They brought pressure from the left side. They had one too many.
Personal foul. Fake mask.
On the defense.
Automatic. First down.
Critical penalty. Was going to be a loss of 10 and a definite field goal try, and now it's 1st and goal.
There you could see they brought the pressure. That's the freshman Lathers that forces him out of the pocket, and then Ben Martin, number 99. It's a good call. Hands right on the face. Fisher was right on top of it. It's well officiated.
Conference USA officiating crew. 1st and goal, and now another flag thrown in the defensive backfield. Lane Kiffin way down on the 8-yard line out on the field. That's really not where he is supposed to be.
There's no flag on the play. Prior to the flag.
Tennessee has called timeout.
And that's their first.
Tennessee called a roo-roo. Should sound like to me. And they shooed the head coach back to where he should be.
Well, timeout with Virginia Tech leading 7-0, and we check in with Reese Davis in the studio. Happy New Year, Reese.
Happy New Year, my friend. Sean, Matt, good to hear you guys. Great game going on. Flomax Bowl update time. We've had a day full of bowl action here on the family of networks today, including the Oklahoma-Stanford game. It was tied at 24 in the Brute Sun Bowl. DeMarco Murray went up and over the top. He was owned by Ryan Broyles, caught 13 passes, 3 of them for touchdowns. Landry Jones threw for over 400, and Oklahoma held on to beat Stanford. Gerhardt had 133. Andrew Luck didn't play. Navy destroyed Missouri. Ricky Dobbs with a terrific day, 130 yards passing, 166, and 3 touchdowns on the ground. And Air Force rolled up over 400 yards on the ground as service academies win bowl games on the same day for the first time since '85.
Back at the Chick-fil-A Bowl in Atlanta. 9th oldest bowl game in the nation. Dates back to 1968. Since 1992, it's been the SEC against the ACC. And Virginia Tech out of the ACC leading Tennessee 7-0 and looking to score again. 1st and goal from the 1.
You got 2 fullbacks in there.
Kenny Younger went in motion. Ryan Williams running left, and he got stood up at the line of scrimmage. Outstanding defense by Tennessee. They'll mark it as a loss. Back outside the 2, Dennis Rogan, who's been a standout. Lane Kiffin said he's had a wonderful year. He's played both cornerback and safety for Tennessee, and he made a big play.
And it wouldn't have mattered if they had 5 fullbacks in there. That time, the Tennessee Volunteer defense just got off the ball and won at the line of scrimmage, stuffed them in the backfield.
There's Monty Kiffin. After 26 years in the NFL, he's returned to college football to coach alongside his son. Hoping for a big stop here. 2nd and goal. Williams to the right this time. Touchdown. Adding to his ACC touchdown records.
And there was that vision and decisiveness again, Sean, like we said. He had the lane and then took it right back inside hard. Really well done. Let's watch it from the end. You're going to see when he makes his decision. Right there. That's extremely well done. And he gets down nice and low, has a nose for the goal line. Marcus Allen had that in him.
Good lead blocked by the fullback, Kenny Jefferson. So 2 touchdowns for Williams, giving him 22 total for the year, and 21 rushing touchdowns. Both of those are ACC records, and Matt Waldron the extra point. 46-yard drive, most of it on the 42-yard pass. Taylor to Cole. Fun activities during bowl week for the teams. A la Family Feud. It was Football Feud Monday night. They've taken the feud to the field. Ryan Williams and the Hokies leading 14-0. Key mistakes hurting Tennessee. An interception led to the first Virginia Tech touchdown. And it looked like they were going to hold the Hokies to a field goal try a moment ago, but a face mask penalty gave Virginia Tech a first down, and they punched it in from 3 yards. So now it'll be Justin Meyer to kick off. David Oku and Eric Berry are back deep for Tennessee. He blasts it in the direction of Oku, who will not try it. 5 yards deep. We check in now with Reese Davis in the studio.
John, I know next to the bowl games, or maybe right there equal with it, your love for Big East basketball, and over on ESPN2 and ESPN 360, Georgetown, number 13 in the country, gets the St. John's team that's been off to a solid start. Hoya's up 21-15, a little over halfway through the first half. And on ESPNU, Richmond, the Spiders hanging with Wake Forest. It's 46-44, 11 and change remaining in the game. That one's on the U.
Thank you, Reese. One of the pleasures of the new year, the start of Big Monday. College basketball on ESPN. Looking forward to being back with Bill Raftery and Jay Billis. Here's a quick throw to Gerald Jones, and Tennessee just can't find anything offensively. Cody Grimm rallied very quickly to the ball.
Yeah, they'll find Cody Grimm a lot tonight. And Cody Grimm, of course, the son of Russ Grimm, an all-pro player and team of the decades. But this kid here has way better instincts than his old man ever had. And he's better looking, too. But that kid there, pound for pound, Bud Foster, the defensive coordinator, said the best player he ever coached. I would take it a step further. That is just a pure football player. And he will play at the next level, or at least have a great shot.
Listed at 5'11", 210. That might be a little generous. Crompton going deep. He has a receiver out there. Finally, a big play for the Vols from Denarius Moore, their lone deep threat. Davon Morgan had the coverage. But it is the first big play of the night for Tennessee, all the way to the Virginia Tech 41-yard line.
Well, we talked about Denarius Moore and the speed to get on top. And that's exactly what he did. And it was just pure speed, just got to the top. And Crompton was able, with a little help from above, to be able to make that throw, according to him anyway.
They had a total of 10 yards before that play. They got 40 on that one. And movement and a flag.
Number 56 in the defense. It's a 5-yard penalty. It'll remain first down.
Demetrius Taylor, backup defensive tackle who plays a lot. Here's Holly.
Well, guys, after that early interception by Jonathan Crompton, he was supposed to be going to Denarius Moore. So they came over to the sideline, and Moore actually kind of reran the route in front of Crompton to show him what he thought he was supposed to do, and they fixed it. Crompton and Moore having a good rapport over on the sideline, guys. Looks like they got it fixed that time.
Well, he sure did, and he hit it to a big play.
Lane Kiffin says that's a big reason why Crompton played so much better. The receivers got better over the second half of the season. Hardesty still unable to find running room to the 35. Lindell Gibson made the tackle, and you said it earlier, their defense got better when they put the freshman in at middle linebacker. Jake Johnson, a sophomore, was the starter at that position much of the year, but they've got more playmaking out of Lindell Gibson.
Great instincts and very good in the blitz.
He started the last 4 games of the season. They won all 4. Didn't give up a point on defense in the last 4 games of the year in the second half. Cody Grimm again, responding quickly, this time to the catch by Quentin Hancock.
Grimm came from the inside out and made the tackle, but Carmichael, 21, he's the guy who makes the play. if you're going to miss a tackle, miss it to where your help is. And that's what Carmichael does. He takes his shot on the outside, and then Grimm holds great leverage on the inside. And the leverage part of it, he understands very well because he plays with good angles.
Bud Foster, the coordinator, talks about his great vision, his great anticipation in football intelligence. That was officially a rush on a lateral and a 1-yard loss. Crompton, with the play clock running down, calls a timeout, leaving Tennessee with only 1 here in the first half.
Timeout, Tennessee. That's their second. And it'll be a 30-second timeout.
3rd down and 5 upcoming. Lane Kiffin does call the plays. And we remind you that ABC is your home for both the Rose Bowl game and the City BCS National Championship game. Tomorrow at 4:30. Don't miss the granddaddy of them all. And then on Thursday, January 7th at 8 Eastern, Texas and Alabama in the City BCS National Championship game. Rose Bowl tomorrow 4:30. BCS National Title game Thursday at 8 Eastern on ABC. And who do you like in that Ohio State-Oregon matchup tomorrow?
I really like what Oregon does offensively. I think they do. I think they're going to move the football in this Ohio State team. But Ohio State, don't underestimate it. They've played excellent defense. They rush the passer. They've got some good players when they run the ball. But I think Oregon's going to score some points. That's a nice way of saying I don't know.
Yes, you like both sides. Feel strongly both ways. Here's a big 3rd down and 5 now for Tennessee. Crompton throws a quick strike, and it's caught. Gerald Jones inside the 20.
Well, Jerron Hosley thought he had a pick, and he could have been out the gate. So he took a chance and went for the ball. You're going to watch it down below. Look at the nice back pedal. Eyes are inside, and he's reading. Watch, he sees it, and he comes up now. Break. Great break. Misses the ball, however. And they do a nice job of picking up the first.
And a big completion to Gerald Jones. 15-yard gain for Tennessee's leading receiver, junior out of Oklahoma City. Play action pass. Crompton is buried back at the 29 by J-Ron Hosley. He didn't get the interception, but he certainly got the sack.
That's a nice call by Bud Foster, the defensive coordinator. Just bringing that backside corner. And Crompton never sees it. He never sees it, and he's looking to his left, and lo and behold, here comes Hosley off that other side. See how he whips his head around fast? Hosley knew it, too. That's a nice call by Bud Foster, their defensive coordinator.
Bud says that Hosley has a great chance to be the next great defensive back at Virginia Tech, and they've had several in recent years. Loss of 7. Can Hardesty find some room this time? Just a little bit. He slides down to the 24. Of course, the defense consistently excellent at Virginia Tech, and one of the reasons why it's been coordinated by Bud Foster, who's had a very busy month between the end of the regular season and this bowl game. He was wooed by several other schools who are looking for defensive coordinators. Took a call from Urban Meyer, Florida, from Jimbo Fisher of Florida State. Got very seriously involved in conversations with the University of Georgia, but elected to stay at Virginia Tech. He's been alongside Frank Beamer for 31 years as a player for Frank and now an assistant coach. Crompton a pump fake, and he throws in a double coverage, and it is caught. Gerald Jones in traffic.
The safety couldn't get there. The corner tried to reroute him. He ran right by him down that left side. And he's trying to hold the outside and just bites on the double move before Chancellor can come over to help him.
And a perfect throw by Crompton. He had to get it over the one defender, Chris Hill, and they're ahead of the other defender, Cam Chancellor. 20-yard gain.
That one's on Hill. You can't bite on that, especially holding that inside leverage.
And Hill's the new starter for Stephon Virgil. First and goal from the 4. Crompton, a bullet dropped. Gerald Jones had in the back of the end zone but couldn't hang on.
Well, now this is the difference in Crompton from the beginning of the year to now. And here's the confidence. And that ball he's throwing lazy. That was a great throw down the left sideline. And now under pressure, he hits him. That should be 6. Jones doesn't hold it. And so now they'll go to second.
Compton had a miserable season a year ago, and the entire offense was terrible. Scuffled at the beginning of this year, received some death threats, but he really turned it around the second half of his senior year. Hardesty gets away and scores. Cordero Thompson looked like he had him for a loss, but didn't get him on the ground.
Well, Cordero Thompson had a great jump off the ball and was in the backfield. And just like you said, you were about to say he was tackled for a loss, but you're right. He got away, and this is the strength we were talking about. Look at the balance, and then keeps on going. Thompson gets the miss. Hardesty gets the score.
4-yard touchdown run. And the extra point good by Daniel Lincoln. They needed a momentum-changing drive, and they got it with some big plays. And Hardesty powerfully built at 6 feet, 215 pounds into the end zone. Thirteenth rushing touchdown of the season for Montario Hardesty, senior from New Bern, North Carolina, but it was a drive of big plays through the air for Tennessee. Of course, at the end of it, Hardesty got away from Cordero Thompson, and a lot of contact on the sideline, more than Thompson managed to make with Hardesty on the touchdown run.
Yeah, it's Charlie Wiles, his defensive line coach, and he knows there's a lot of game left to be played, and he's counting on Thompson to be able to make those plays.
Here's Dyrell Roberts bringing back the Chad Cunningham kickoff. And back to the 21-yard line. Of course, these coaches better be careful now with the way they treat athletes. That's come under tremendous scrutiny. And always heavily scrutinized is Reese Davis during a Sports Center Right Now update.
Now you're putting the pressure on me, Sean. Sports Center Right Now, AT&T ends its sponsorship with Tiger Woods after admitting to his infidelity. AT&T joining Accenture as one of the sponsors to drop Tiger Woods. And Urban Meyer says he hid his chest pains to protect his family and team and not to alarm them. Sports Center coming up later tonight. College Football Live as well.
All right, Reese, thank you. Tyrod Taylor floats one out into the flat. And that's a loss. That looked doomed from the start. Eric Berry, the All-American, flattened Ryan Williams back at the 16-yard line.
Well, you've heard a lot about Eric Berry, and he's a safety. And so what makes him special? Well, you're going to see this tackle. He's been making this all year long. But what makes him so special is he's always around the football. He has great instincts. He's able to get to different spots on the field because he has the speed, but he's a playmaker. You cannot find those guys.
Second year in a row, he's consensus All-American. He won the Jim Thorpe Award this year, and everybody around the Tennessee program believes this is going to be his last game for the Vols as a junior. And the pass incomplete by Taylor. Intended for Jarrett Boykin. And little left for Eric Berry to accomplish. Both Mel Kiper and Todd McShay have him rated in the top 5 in their mock drafts. Matter of fact, Todd McShay has Eric Berry as the #1 player on his draft board coming out. Well, assuming he comes out.
Yeah, there'll be a lot of discussion about who's who, but let me say this. You can't find big men. And Ndamukong Suh is a stud. Now, this guy, Berry, he's right up there. He does what you can't coach.
Monty Kibben says he's going to be a long-time All-Pro and team captain in the NFL, and he would know. Taylor throwing a high, deep ball from Marcus Davis, and it's incomplete. Broken up by Jansen Jackson.
There's another one, Sean. Jansen Jackson is just a freshman, and he has excellent ball skills as well. The ball hangs just a little bit too much, but Jackson does a nice job of following through because they needed Marcus Davis to come back to that ball, and he wasn't able to.
Perfectly. The replay just shown on the big screens here. The Hokie fans didn't think so.
A little bit of the momentum shifting. You could feel it right now.
There's Brent Bowden to punt, handle a low snap. And a fair catch signal made by Dennis Rogan at the 38-yard line. So let's look back At our Mazda drive recap, and it was the last drive for Tennessee. With a lot of big plays, completions to more of 40 yards. That got the offense out of its night-long slumber till that point. And then 2 catches by Jones, 15 and 20 yards. Got them down inside the 5-yard line, and Hardesty took it in when it looked like he was going to be swung down for a loss by Tadero Thompson.
And so now this puts them back on even ground, and they can become balanced again.
Brompton 4 out of 8 passing now for 72 yards. 5.5 to go till the half. A 7-point lead for Virginia Tech. And Hardesty fought hard for 2. Holly?
Right after that great play by Jaron Hosley where he got the nice sack on Crompton, he quickly ran over to the sidelines guys and started throwing up. So consequently, he was out on the next play where they victimized Chris Hill, number 9, who took his position. So he's out. He's on the sideline right now. They're going to keep an eye on him, see if he can get back in this game. They're not sure if it was a hard hit or if he is having some flu-like symptoms.
Well, he was bothered by flu-like symptoms and missed some practice time earlier in the week. But perhaps that is affecting him again. 2nd and 8. Play action pass. And Crompton is taken down by John Graves.
And forced the fumble. And nicely done by Graves on the inside. And it's just pure power. And it just forces that inside. Remember early we talked about the inside 3. Well, Graves is able to beat the Twins and just runs right through him and powers his way into Crompton and forces the fumble. The Twins,
like Cody Sullins, the center, and 2 identical twins. He plays alongside his brother Corey Sullins, the left guard. It looked like Cody, the center, made the fumble recovery. Hardesty was there too. Loss of 7. 3rd down and 15. Hokies show blitz and they bring it. Hardesty could not turn the corner. Chopped down for a loss of 1. Chris Drager, backup defensive end, held his position. Sophomore.
That was well done by Drager because they worked off the block. The one thing that you'll notice with this Hokie defense is they run well. And so you try to get to the edge. They do a great job of setting the edge and everybody hustling and getting out there.
Chad Cunningham about to punt, and a timeout called by Lane Kiffin. So they're out of timeouts.
Tennessee.
With 3:38 to go in the first half. Here's Chad Cunningham to punt.
Oh.
Jaron Hosley, no flag down at the feet of Cunningham. Hosley, they might have grabbed his face mask as 2 flags come flying. A lot of action on that play. 45-yard punt, loss of 2 on the return. Anthony Anderson finally made the tackle. It looked like somebody grabbed the face mask.
A good non-call on the front end with the punter.
Personal foul, face mask number 45. The 15-yard penalty, and it'll be a 1st down.
Kevin Cooper called for the face mask, and they'll move the ball out to the 40-yard line.
Well, Hosley just has an ability to be able to get away. I don't know whose face mask. One's pushing in the face, the other one's grabbing. That's the penalty. And here is the almost roughing the kicker. And that's a good job by the officials. That's a good non-call.
Jason Worlds, the standout defensive end on the punt return team, trying to go in there and block one. 7-point lead for the Hokies, trying to add to it here in the final moments of the 2nd quarter. After that carry by Ryan Williams for 5. The clock will run under 3 minutes left in the first half. Herman Lathers made the tackle for Tennessee.
You know, this Tennessee defense has done what they wanted to do in the rushing game. They really haven't given up a lot of rushing yards. And it was just a couple of big plays in the passing game early from Tyrod Taylor. But they've held them to a pretty good rush per average.
It's 42 yards total rushing for Virginia Tech in the ballgame. 35 for Williams, but on 15 carries. They handed off to Ryan inside, and he takes the pile for the 2 yards that he needed to get the first down right at midfield. with 2:40 to go. Ryan Williams has had 9 100-yard rushing games this season in 12 games for the Hokies, who arrive in Atlanta 9-3 for the season.
Well, we know what he is, and in order for him to run well, this Hokie offensive line has to handle Big Dan Williams. Dan Williams, number 91 inside, or 55 rather. He's the real deal.
Good run defense again for LaMarcus Thompson. Strong side linebacker dropped Williams for a loss of 2. Here's Reese.
John, coming up on the H&R Block halftime report, case closed down by interceptions. Wait till you see what Air Force did against the Houston quarterback. We'll also check in on the Sooners, who are now basking in the sun, and Mizzou falls victim to the Navy.
And here Taylor scrambled and threw on the run. He was hit as he threw by LaMarcus Thompson, and the ball sailed high in the general direction of Tyrell Roberts, and it'll be 3rd down and 12 for Virginia Tech.
But Sean, just watch this. He makes you miss on the front end, and then he's able to get this ball out of there. How he did it, I don't know. I mean, that's a heck of a job by Tyrod Taylor to be able to just get the ball off and sets up this 3rd down.
Rico McCoy came on the blitz, didn't get him, but threw the play off. Taylor completed 7 of his first 9. He's missed on his last 3. Likely pass situation here. 3rd down and 12. Only a 4-man rush. Now Taylor's a lot of running room. And he has a 1st down and more. And out of bounds at the 31-yard line.
Tyrod Taylor, very decisive, pulls it down. He sees the green. And this is what he does very well. He's an excellent runner. Watch this. Here's the decision. Now he sees the green. One guy to beat, he'll do that. It's a great decision, but even more impressive is run skills.
2nd leading rusher for the season. Started the night with 344 rush yards for the year. That's a 21-yard gain. 1:35 to go. They're in field goal range now at the 31-yard line. And a zip down the seam. A little bit too hot to handle for Jarrett Boykin. Seemed to catch him by surprise.
Ball's coming off a little bit high right now. He's letting his release points a little bit too high. But just watching Tyrod Taylor, you know, when a guy takes off and runs like that, it's like the wildcat that everybody, because you don't account for the quarterback running. When he gets back there and he gets loose, boy, he opens things up.
24 yards rushing for Tyrod Taylor tonight. Pressured, in trouble in the pocket, and the ball and Taylor taken to the ground by Rico McCoy and Dan Williams. Tyrod managed to hang on, but it's a sack and a loss of 9 back at the 40-yard line, and a timeout called by Virginia Tech.
And takes them out of field goal range.
Take me back to my southern ways, where I can be myself. Yes.
Capital One Bowl Week continues tomorrow on ESPN and ABC with 2 games at 11 a.m. Eastern Time on ESPN. The Northwestern Wildcats, looking for their first bowl win since 1949. Battle the Auburn Tigers in the Outback Bowl, and then at 1 Eastern on ABC, Joe Paterno's 13th-ranked Penn State Nittany Lions take on 12th-ranked LSU in the Capital One Bowl. It's Capital One Bowl Week continuing tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern on ESPN, 1 Eastern on ABC. On this New Year's Eve in Atlanta, Virginia Tech in the Chick-fil-A Bowl leading Tennessee 14-7. 1:22 to go in the half. 3rd down and 19, and Taylor fires, intercepted. Jansen Jackson, the freshman, back to midfield.
Jackson's just sitting down there. They're trying to hit Coyle on a crossing route. And Jackson reads it perfectly. Just sitting back in his zone. You're going to watch him right here. And he's reading the eyeballs of the quarterback. Here comes Coyle on the top. He sees it, reads it perfectly, pulls it down. Not enough air into that. Needed to get it over the top of Jansen, which he wasn't able to do. And Big Ed Wang, number 77, forces him out of bounds.
First career interception for the freshman from Lake Charles, Louisiana. Will not be his last. One of the most talented freshmen in the country. It's the 10th interception of the year for Tennessee. A screen against the blitz. Hardesty with blockers. Inside the 30. Still on his feet. Inside the 10. Powering toward the end zone. And down at the 1-yard line. And they're hurrying to the line to spike it. They don't need to do that and waste the down. They have 56 seconds left in the half. That's plenty of time to line up and run a play, and they'll catch a break because there's an injured Virginia Tech player back near the 40-yard line. It's Nikos Brown, the defensive end.
Well, remember earlier when they ran the screen, said the timing was messed up? This time it wasn't. This is really well done, and then a great job, Hart, to be able to just open field run and takes it all the way through, tries to run through at the end. Well, that may have been a touchdown. Let's see if his knee hits.
No, knee
Good
down,
job by the
ball at the
official.
1. Well marked by this Conference USA officiating crew. Crompton was hoping it was a touchdown, and they caught a break because they were going to run up and spike it. They don't have any timeouts left. They didn't need to do that with almost a minute left to go. Now the clock is running. First and goal. 47-yard gain on the screen. Hardesty the back. Tripped up. Barquell Rivers made the tackle, lost his helmet. And now Tennessee wants to get moving a bit more quickly. And Hardesty comes up limping, favoring his left leg. Actually, it's Gerald Jones, number 4. The wide receiver who was blocking on the play. Got to the numbers and then went down. And the Hokie fans are booing. They think this might be a theatrical job here to stop the clock. And I think Frank Beamer thinks that might be the case as well.
Well, he tried to get off, but I don't think so. That's a good job in there by Barquell Rivers, and he got rolled up on in that back leg, just like you said. So Cam Chancellor was right there in the middle of it.
They're very thin at wide receiver. Meanwhile, they're still looking at Nikos Brown. And that would be a big loss for Virginia Tech if the senior defensive end could not return. He's played himself into an NFL prospect this year, according to Bud Foster. Second and goal from just inside the 2. Play action fake and a touchdown. Denarius Moore to catch in the back of the end zone.
He had one-on-one on the top side, and instead Lane Kiffin makes a great call and goes with the play action inside. And anytime you do that, you're going to have a bite on the inside because you have to honor the run. And as soon as they jumped inside, Moore got on top of them, and it was an easy 6.
Well, Virginia Tech was dominating this game early, but now Tennessee has found an offensive rhythm, and they tie it on the extra point by Daniel Lincoln.
Well, Moore does a great job. Watch Moore right here, number 6. He's going to fake the block first, and then he's going to get on top. And I want you to watch the backers jump inside. So you have to honor the run, and it allows you to get on top very easily. He does a great job of taking the fake, and then, heck, that's stealing.
2-yard touchdown pass. Jonathan Crompton to Denarius Moore. It's Moore's team-leading 7th touchdown reception of the year. And for Crompton, his 27th touchdown pass of the season. In the SEC, only Ryan Mallett of Arkansas has thrown more touchdown passes this year. He's thrown 29. And it's the 4th highest single-season touchdown total in Tennessee history. So this guy much maligned. And in reality, he played very poorly last year and early this season. They didn't have anybody else to go to. Jim Chaney, the offensive coordinator, said there were probably times early this year if we had somebody else we thought could play better, he would have gone in. But Crompton has persevered and has become an excellent quarterback here over the second half of the year. So Chad Cunningham kicks off. Short and bouncing and handled by Dyrell Roberts. And he's down at the 33. Tackled by Derek Furlow. 9 seconds to go. Let's see how Frank Beamer decides to play this one.
I'd assume he'd take a knee right here this far out. But a tale of two quarters, really. They came out and Virginia Tech scored and put 14 on them, and then here comes the Vols. There's no quitting them. It's kind of like their season's been. Second half, they're playing with confidence. You can see as it's going.
That last drive capped by the Crompton touchdown pass was 48 yards, just 3 plays after the interception. Each quarterback threw an interception, led to a score for another team. Taylor looks like he is going to heave one deep, and why not? He is a man behind the defense. Caught! But Jared Boykin is down short of the end zone, and time has run out. He got behind the freshman Jansen Jackson, but they mark him down at the 3-yard line. 64-yard gain. But all it does is pad the stats.
Like I said, he's going to take a knee. That was a heck of a throw, and he did get on top of that secondary. And they're going to check to see exactly if that took up 9 seconds.
Well, the Volunteers are heading to the dressing room. The Hokies are not. They want the officials to check and see if there should be time on the clock.
Remember, there was 9 seconds to go, and usually it takes about 6 or 7 seconds to play.
Well, the Hokies are still on the sideline. Frank Beamer told his team to stay right here. He's hoping for replay review. The replay official is Paul Schmidt. We haven't had any activity. Ed Ardito now is conferring with the booth. Chad Craig, the replay communicator, and Paul Schmidt, the replay official.
There's the ball. They said they called the timeout.
Well, when is he down?
Knee is down 2 seconds.
2 seconds. Well, if they were able to get the timeout that quickly, then they have time for another play.
And they could kick a field goal. Get the 3 points and get out. What a phenomenal throw.
He's got a great arm.
The previous play was under review. The game clock will show 2 seconds. The ball will be on the 4-yard line. Virginia Tech has called timeout, and that's their 3rd timeout.
And of course, they wouldn't have had to call the timeout all that quickly because the clock would have stopped to move the chains anyway, which would have given them the opportunity to call the timeout during that stoppage. So here comes Lane Kiffin. Might have had a couple of orange slices in the locker room. And he wants an explanation.
So much for taking a knee. That's a phenomenal play by Tyrod Taylor, and a great job down the field by Jared Boykin.
That's good work by the officials. We've worked 2 bowl games now, and they've both been well officiated by Big Eastern Conference USA crews. They put the ball at the 4, so they moved it back a yard from where we thought it might be, and it will set up a field goal try for Matt Waldron, who's been outstanding this year. Chance to give Frank Beamer and the Hokies the lead at the half. He's 17 out of 20 for the season. This would be a 21-yarder. Senior transfer from Penn State, where he never did kick. And he made it. So we could look back on the final seconds of this first half as the key to the game. Looked like Tennessee was taking for granted that Virginia Tech would take an E. Instead, they went to the deep strike, 63 yards, to set up the field goal. That is the difference in the game right now. Holly?
Well, Coach Beamer, as soon as that time expired, you ran out and spoke to the official. What did you say to him to convince him to get that 2 seconds back on?
They reviewed it, but I think they would have done it anyhow. But I don't think it could take 9 seconds to run that play. And then we had timeout going right as soon as the ball hit the ground. So, I think they got it right.
And, Coach, your offense, you'd done well early in this game, but the momentum started to turn towards Tennessee. How do you get it back?
Well, we allowed a couple of long passes on us, and then they hit us on the screen. So defensively, we've got to tighten down some things. And offensively, we've got to just come back and get moving again. We had a lot of good plays, had a couple of bad ones, and that got us.
All right, well, at least you got that one. You got the 2 seconds.
At the half, Virginia Tech 17, Tennessee 14. What a New Year's Eve this has been in Atlanta. More to come after we head to the studio for the H&R Block halftime report. And we welcome you back to ESPN's presentation of the 2009 Chick-fil-A Bowl, the ACC against the SEC for the 18th straight year here. And at the half, it's Virginia Tech with a 3-point lead over Tennessee, 17-14. They led 14-0. Tennessee rallied back to tie it up. And then a long bomb in the final second set up the go-ahead field goal. And Matt Millen, as we look at the stats, you can see we talked about the great rushers on both sides, Hardesty and Williams. They look to be the keys coming in, and both teams are doing everything they can defensively to stop the run.
Yeah, and so we'll show you that in the second half. What they've done, Sean, is they really have just dared each quarterback to be able to beat them, and they've been inconsistent. The consistent part has been their defenses. They've stacked the box with 8. They've taken away the run game. We expected that, and then that's why we said the next step was going to probably be play action, but instead it turned into a first half of big plays, and none was bigger than the one right before the half, and it's a classic mistake. It's a classic mistake by a young player. As Jansen Jackson sitting right here at about 15 yards. He should really be at about 30 yards. You never let anybody get over the top of you, ever. I want you to watch his back pedal. He stays in his back pedal too long and allows the receiver to run up on him. And by the time he turns to get out of his pedal, too late, you're beat. The ball goes over his head, and it eventually, inevitably, led to 3 points. That's a huge play on both sides. You don't give that up. He'll learn.
He made a big play, the interception, to set up a touchdown. Tyrod Taylor forced to throw it more than they had anticipated, and he played well in that first half, threw for 156 yards, including that long bomb at the end of the half. So Justin Meyer will kick off. Eric Berry and David Oku, and it'll be Oku about a yard deep in the end zone. Right up the numbers and out to the 30. Let's take a look at tonight's flow of the game, brought to you by Flow TV. Ryan Williams only 38 rushing yards, but he did score both touchdowns. And Montario Hardesty has rushed for only 15 yards, but he managed to get away and score, and Crompton threw a touchdown pass that tied the game briefly. Tyrod Taylor to Jarrett Boykin in the final seconds set up the Waldron 21-yard field goal. That is the difference right now.
Here's your 8th man down.
And a play-action pass. Crompton throws very well on the run. And that rollout pass gets 11 to Denarius Moore at a first down.
And that's a smart call by Lane Kiffin. And you know he has had trouble sitting in the pocket a little bit, just a little bit of inconsistency. And so he rolls him out. And you're going to bring your 8th guy down there. You'll stretch the field with that rollout. And it gives you a clear vision for your quarterback to be able to see.
Very slow start for Crompton and the Tennessee offense, but they have picked it up considerably.
Quarterback's checking at the line of scrimmage.
Crompton given a little bit of time, settles for the short ball. And good fight after the catch by Luke Stalker, the tight end. His first catch of the night, 28 for the year. Here's Holly.
Well, Tennessee coach Lane Kiffin blew past me at halftime. He wasn't going to do an interview, but he later came back and apologized, saying, hey, we were just trying to get to the locker room and milk those last few seconds. Of course, it didn't work. Virginia Tech got the field goal. But he said, we've got to do a better job staying deep. As you guys mentioned before, they got beat on those long pass plays. And then he mentioned the defenders that were out injured, but it looks like Wes Brown, their defensive tackle, is re-wrapped up and might be able to play.
On 2nd and 2. Hardesty slipped as he took the handoff and got spun down by Jason Worlds for a loss back to the 47-yard line.
That's a nice job by Worlds on that backside, but Bud Foster has this offense down because he's slanting his defensive line. And he slanted them that time, and the inside tackles, they took away the run and forced it back to Worlds.
Third down and 4. Tennessee 2 out of 5 on 3rd down. And that one's incomplete. Intended for the junior Stalker. Red Lindell Gibson in coverage.
You know, one of the things that this defense at least did well here and has done well is they're good in their zones. It's almost a matchup zone. And what I mean by that, traditionally guys will just drop into an area, but they will drop to a man. And they do a good job of reading the routes. They did a nice job right there doing those same things.
Chad Cunningham will punt for the 4th time tonight. Average 44.7 in the first half. Here's another boomer. And it will be caught by the freshman Jaron Hosley near the 5. And he showed his great speed. Looked like he might explode away from the coverage team. Brought it back to the 27 for a 22-yard return.
Well, Sean, you could see the acceleration this kid has. And it's watch the acceleration, but I like watch the stop at the end. He knew had he been able to make that cut, he had a chance. This is an exciting young player.
Like LaMarcus Thompson tripped him up. 48-yard punt. And now Tyrod Taylor, 8 out of 15 for 156 in the first half with that 63-yard bomb just before the half. He threw an interception that led to a Tennessee score. Ryan Williams running room at last, and he's out to the 47-yard line. Eric Berry made the tackle for Tennessee.
Well, just nicely done and well blocked. And it's watch the vision. And then he has the one-on-one, and you've got to be able to make a guy miss. And Rico McCoy standing right there. He makes him miss. And then they're dropping their safety down. Number 14, like you saw, Eric Berry. We talked about that for the 8th man. He took a bad angle inside and was able to get to the outside.
Williams started the night needing 110 yards to set the single-season Virginia Tech rushing record. He has 59 tonight. And he can add 4 to that total as he shakes and bakes across midfield to the 49 of Tennessee. Art Evans made the tackle. His rushing total starting the night was 1,538 yards. That's already the ACC freshman record. And Kevin Jones, the single-season record of 1647 for Virginia Tech back in 2003.
Of course, Kevin Jones was the #1 pick, and late with the Chicago Bears and blew his knee out. Kevin Jones, a heck of a talent, and this kid is in the same mold.
Taylor started one way, handed it off to Williams, coming back the other, breaking tackle, and chopped down inside the 20. They'll mark it at the 18. Art Evans saved the touchdown. They found some new wrinkles to get Ryan Williams loose. That one went for 32.
And I want to show you that wrinkle. And it's a fake pitch first. And they do this, and they try to get everybody going this way, which they do. And then they bring back Ryan Williams, and there you see, running through tackles. And there's the speed, not an overly fast guy, quicker than fast, but a nice package. Well, I like this kid a lot. 2 freshmen we watched this year, Sean, that are exciting for college football next year. This kid, Ryan Williams, right now, and Dion Lewis for the Pitt Panthers. Both of these guys have very good futures.
Herman Lathers, the middle linebacker, is injured. As we mentioned earlier, he's a true freshman. Their 3rd-string middle linebacker at the start of the year. They had 2 injuries ahead of him. And here are the top freshman rushers in the nation. Ryan Williams, 5th in the country among all rushers with 128.2 per game.
Dion Lewis is exciting. All these guys, there's some really good young college football players, and heading that list is this kid right here. This Ryan Williams is an exciting player.
Well, Lathers is off the field, and here's Williams, who's already had runs of 21 and 32 here in the second half, after he's held to a total of 38 yards in the first half.
You know, Sean, the thing that was interesting with Ryan Williams, and you and I had them earlier, like I mentioned, and one of those games was the Nebraska game. And the night previous of the Nebraska game, a big game, of course, to both sides, somebody pulled the fire alarm in the middle of the night. And so at 2 o'clock in the morning, I was downstairs, and here comes Ryan Williams. And all he wants to talk about is how does he get better. And he loves the game of football, and you got to love guys like that.
They hand it to him again, running left. And he's inside the 5. 1st and goal at the 4. Give Brian Steinspring and this offensive coaching staff some credit, too. They've run some plays we didn't see in the first half.
Yeah, and then also this offensive line. And when there's a synergy between running back and offensive line, that's when it's special. You just stay on your guy. Ryan Williams will do the rest.
Flag down, and before the snap, there was movement.
False start. on the offense, number 42. It's a 5-yard penalty. It'll remain first down.
Yeah, that's Kenny Jefferson, the fullback. And really, Sean, he took a step extra, and it was going to be a lead. And he tried to stop and hope that nobody would see him. But no, we saw him.
Indeed we did. More importantly, the officials did. Brian Steinspring, offensive coordinator, part of this veteran staff. He's been on the staff with Frank Beamer since 1993. He's dialed up 5 straight runs from Ryan Williams that have gone for a total of 70 yards. Here's the 6th in a row. Hurdling tacklers, and he's back to the 4. Ben Martin the stop.
What he likes right now is that left side. And you take a look at that left side. It's number 77, Big Ed Wang, and 70, Sergio Render, and Jefferson, 42. And that's just really well blocked. You see Bo Warren coming in there, number 60, the center. As an athletic center is Bo Warren. His father, the former teammate of mine with the Washington Redskins.
Williams now has the single-season rushing record at Virginia Tech, and he almost had another touchdown. He needed 110 yards to start the night, and he's at 114 now after that carry. And Rico McCoy chopped him down just short of the goal line.
And just going with the power. Here comes Jefferson, blocks McCoy, and then he runs over. He runs over Thornton, the backup backer.
A single-season record for Ryan Williams. Breaking Kevin Jones' mark. He wants another touchdown. Instead, Taylor keeps it. And no signal yet. It looked like he got in from here.
It looks like a touchdown. They're looking for the ball. It's already gone.
And it is a touchdown.
Sean, they rode the back. Ryan Williams from start to finish, and then Tyrod Taylor finished it off. Keep in mind, that's also versus an extra man in the box. So you credit 2 things. Well, actually 3, Sean. You mentioned it. Steinspring did a great job of some changeup, and then Williams with the power, and then a nice job of the offensive line.
1-yard touchdown run for Taylor, his 5th rushing touchdown of the year, and Matt Waldron kicks the extra point. So the lead back up to 10 for Virginia Tech in the 3rd quarter in Atlanta. Seems like with every carry, Ryan Williams continues to break records. He did most of the work on that drive. Tyrod Taylor finished it from a yard out. 1,654 yards now rushing for the year. Not only is it a single-season record for Virginia Tech, but it's 5th all-time in the history of college football among freshmen. On the freshman single-season rushing list tonight, he's moved past P.J. Hill, Tony Dorsett, and Herschel Walker. And just moments ago, he moved past fellow freshman Dion Lewis. The only freshman who ever rushed for more yards in college football than Williams has this year. Adrian Peterson of Oklahoma, Ron Dane, Jamario Thomas, and Chance Kretschmer of Nevada. Good kick by Justin Meyer, and Eric Berry takes the knee about 8 yards deep. More great bowl action. Capital One Bowl League tomorrow on ESPN and ABC. 2 games. 11 a.m. Eastern on ESPN. The Northwestern Wildcats at Auburn in the Outback Bowl. And at 1 Eastern time, Joe Paterno and the Penn State Nittany Lions take on LSU. Capital One Bowl League continues. 11 a.m. on ESPN, 1 Eastern on ABC. Joe Paterno, 36 bowl appearances, 23 wins. There are a lot of schools that wish they had been to 23 bowl games.
Exactly.
Joe's won 23 himself. Crompton on the roll, incomplete. And I think Frank Beamer needs to get some love for that too, Matt. Frank Beamer now has led Virginia Tech to 17 straight bowl appearances. That is the 4th longest streak of all time for a head coach. The only 3 coaches that have longer bowl streaks: Bobby Bowden, 28 this year in his last year, Tom Osborne, 25, and Bear Bryant, 24. It's the 3rd longest active bowl streak for a team in the country, behind Florida State and Florida. And how about that company for Coach Beamer? And he is certainly on his way to the College Football Hall of Fame. Hardesty a nice carry out to the 30 and just enough for a first down. Cody Grimm made the tackle.
Well, when you look at Frank Beamer and what he's done, there are a lot of parallels between both he and Coach Paterno. In fact, I told Coach Beamer a number of times when you were there, I just think that he runs one of the best programs in all of college football, from top to bottom. And he does it as a gentleman, and he does it fairly across the board. I just think he's a fantastic coach and a great program.
During the 17 years in a row in a bowl, they've averaged 9.5 wins. And there's a nice catch and run by Luke Stalker. Crompton got blitzed, took a hit from Nikos Brown, but it's an 11-yard gain. I mean, that's not just sneaking into a bowl game every year at 6-5. They've averaged 9.5 wins per those 17 years in a row that they've been in the bowl game.
And to his recruiting, he's had great players. He's done a great job with that. He likes to recruit the Virginia area, and he's done a fantastic job consistently.
He also points to great stability on the staff. His coordinators have been with him a long time. Offense, defense, and recruiting. Crompton showing that he can run a little bit. Scampers for about 4. And I think that's another underappreciated aspect of success in both college and pro football. Continuity on a staff. When you have the same coaches teaching the same thing, working together. Billy Height's been there 32 years. He was a holdover from Bill Dooley's staff. Bud Foster the entire 23 with Frank. Brian Steinspring 16. Jim Cavanaugh, the recruiting coordinator, 14. There's Billy Height. And Frank Beamer is very quick to deflect the credit to those coaches and the great players he's had, but he's the guy who sets the tone. J. Ron Hosley's injured, so that's why they're going to reset the play clock.
All right, here's what's happened right now. As we were talking about Frank Beamer, on the other side, Lane Kiffin has found the recipe to be able to throw. And so what he's doing is he's waiting for that 8th man to get dropped down, and then he's been throwing the football. And he's been getting some protection. He's mixed up a couple runs when they've tried to jump up and drop back into their too deep and take the safeties out of there. And then they went ahead and ran with Hardesty. So it's a nice balance he has going right now, and he'll have to continue that.
More than midway through the third quarter. Virginia Tech by 10. They led 14-0. Tennessee rallied to tie it. Now 10 unanswered from the Hokies, and Hardesty back to the line, and that's it. Chris Drager, another good play for Virginia Tech.
You saw again there was the 8th man down, and that's the extra man to block. And they'll play things tight to the line of scrimmage. Lane Kiffin is probably going to use that to set up something else. Hardesty goes off. And, you know, when you start talking about play action pass or the rollouts, that you set those, use those runs to set up some play action off of that.
3rd down and 6. And a quick throw and a catch. Denarius Moore for a first down into Virginia Tech territory at the 41-yard line. 14-yard gain. Chris Hill made the tackle and a big conversion for the ball.
You can see Chris Hill. He's sitting off the ball with inside leverage at about 12 yards, and he's giving that up. And he's saying, okay, if you're going to give me 12 to 15, I'm going to take it. So that's exactly what they're doing. Soft corners, he's going to take what they give you.
Of course, Hill's in there again for Stephon Virgil, who started 24 career games at cornerback for Virginia Tech, but academically ineligible tonight. Little slip on the handoff. It's Torrin Poole, who's deep on the depth chart, listed as number 4 at tailback on their depth chart, but he got the carry for the first time tonight. Here's Holly.
Ontario Hardesty just came to the sideline and was seen by 2 different trainers. He's gasping, trying to catch his breath. He keeps bending his head over like he might be trying to get that breath back. I guess he took a hard hit on that last play.
And Poole got his 8th carry of the year. He's a sophomore from Toccoa, Georgia. And here he comes again. His 9th carry of the year is a good one. Gets them a first down inside the 30, down to the 28. That's an 8-yard run for Poole. Tackled by Cam Chancellor and Lindell Gibson.
Yeah, and that's a nice read by Poole. And all he's doing is just reading his linemen and watching them take the defensive line. And he's just being very patient coming back inside.
2 tight ends in the game now. And Poole again. There's probably a lot of Tennessee fans who've never heard of this young man. He got welcomed to the game by Jason Worlds.
Yeah, and Jason Worlds is one of those guys we talked about on the front end. And he's a speed guy. And he had a nice matchup. But what he does there is work off a low block extremely well and just gets down the line, flat down the line. Well done. It's a good player.
It was interesting talking to Cody Grimm yesterday. He said he thinks Worlds is as quick off the ball as Dwight Freeney.
Yeah, his ears perked up when that came out.
Yeah, you disavowed him that notion a little bit. Crompton is still on his feet and lunges forward back to the 35-yard line, but it's still a sack. And they'll mark it at the 33 and a loss of 5 on the play.
Yeah, this is just meet me at the quarterback. And all the interior guys, that's nicely done right there. Cordero Thompson's right there. Nikos Brown is right there. Worlds was there. Here's Jason Worlds again, just working off the top, rushing half a man. Thompson did it inside 95, and Nikos Brown held on and bit the ankle.
Well, Jim Chaney, the offensive coordinator, said his biggest concern was how would the right tackle, the freshman Aaron Douglas, hold up against Jason Worlds. And until these last couple of plays, he's done a pretty good job. We haven't called Worlds' name very much. Worlds quick off the ball there, and they tried to set up a screen. But he was on Crompton so fast, he blew it up.
You're right, and we called it right away, and it's Worlds working outside. And, Sean, this is just pure speed. And you talked about Freeney, and this is what he can do. He can get to an edge. He got it. It's all about hips when you're rushing the passer. Once you get hip to hip, you win. He got to that top offensive tackle's hips, and it was done. I mean, he got on top of Douglas fast and forced that throw.
There's Chad Cunningham. They're at the 33-yard line. Long yardage on 4th down. Kind of field position you might expect a punt fake, but there's a long way to go to get the first down. He does punt it, and it's caught on the fly.
Not a bad play.
That's a great catch of a line drive punt.
You run the risk of it running into the end zone. Instead, it stopped right there.
Anthony Anderson, the play. Now, were I a player on these two teams, I think this would have been my favorite activity of the week. The milkshake contest, which Virginia Tech narrowly won. 122 milkshakes consumed by the Hokies, so 118 for Tennessee. That was on Tuesday, so they had a little time to recover from that consumption of the delicious Chick-fil-A milkshake.
I wonder how many pounds of ice cream they put under. All topped with a nice little maraschino cherry.
Tennessee had an 11-play, 47-yard drive that came up empty. A key sack ended the drive, and Virginia Tech takes over at its own 11, leading by 10, 3:15 to go, 3rd quarter. And they come right back to Ryan Williams. A gain of a yard for Ryan, who's rushed for 79 yards now in the 3rd quarter.
And getting up slow. But he wasn't slow on this last drive because they rode him. And they rode his quickness and his burst and vision. And they took him all the way down to the goal line with the consistency, and then Tyrod Taylor took it in. But Ryan Williams, who's getting up slow off that last play, had a great series.
He carried 7 straight times on that last drive for 78 yards.
It looks like he's looking at that ankle again. No, looks like more than an ankle.
Well, that's bad. He's really dragging that left leg. Has set the single season Virginia Tech rushing record tonight. ACC marks for total touchdowns and rushing touchdowns in a season. His left leg that he was dragging as he went off the field. Josh Oglesby comes in to take his place. And a nice plenty of faith in Josh. He rushed for 301 yards in the regular season, averaged over 4 yards per carry. Sophomore from Garner, North Carolina. That does not look good for Ryan Williams.
Well, it looks like he's working on the ankle again. But what a stable of backs Virginia Tech has. You talked about Oglesby, 25, David Wilson, a very talented freshman. Of course, Ryan Williams.
And they're going to get Darren Evans back next year, who rushed for over 1,200 yards as a freshman last season and blew up his knee in August. Big 3rd down and 1. Tennessee down by 10. Watch the ball back. Oglesby breaks free and gets chopped down by Art Evans at the 30-yard line. 10-yard run for Oglesby, whose dad Ike was a fine running back at the University of North Carolina in the early 70s.
Shades of Ike Oglesby right here, and he just runs with his eyes. And then that's a nice job on the outside of Art Evans coming off a block to make this tackle, or Oglesby had his eyes and vision down the field.
Remember the angst in the preseason? What are they going to do without Darren Evans?
Exactly.
People thought that might be a huge blow to Virginia Tech's season. Williams and Oglesby have been terrific. Taylor again showing that decisive decision-making ability, when to throw it, when to hang in there, when to take it down and run, and he just ran for 11.
You know, Sean, that was supposed to be a smoke. That was going to be a quick throw to the outside, and the receiver missed it. And a great decision by Tyrod Taylor to pull it down and just go and get the first down. And that's the great advantage you have with a pair of legs like Taylor's.
He's from Hampton, Virginia, a junior, peninsula area of the great state of Virginia, Commonwealth of Virginia. Allen Iverson, Ronald Curry, Brian Randall, Marcus and Michael Vick, all great quarterbacks out of that area. And there's a bullet into Tennessee territory to the 37. Tyrell Roberts, 23-yard gain, first down.
And Big Dan Williams put a shot right on Tyrod Taylor just as he was letting it go. And he has to see him out of the corner of his eye, and he has the feel, but boy, he was dialed in. That is a great throw, throwing to the top of the numbers. 2 yards, top of the numbers, right on target.
You and I saw Virginia Tech back-to-back early in the season against Nebraska and Miami. It's amazing how much better Tyrod Taylor looks right now.
Completely agree.
His composure, his throwing ability, his decision-making, all much improved over the early season. Timeout, Virginia Tech. I'm nervous for him.
That stuff amazes me. I was at a motorcycle jump one time, and you watch it on TV and you think, that's kind of staged and all that stuff. But I'm telling you, that stuff is scary.
They're still wrapping Ryan Williams' ankle, and that's good news. They must believe that he's not so seriously injured that he cannot return. That's at least the second time tonight they've rewrapped that left ankle.
8 men down again up at the top.
Oglesby continues as the tailback, and he dances down to the 30. Well, as you saw, Holly Rowe is right there watching what's going on with Ryan. Holly?
Well, guys, they cut off all of his tape and went right down to the bare skin to do a great examination. I overheard one of the people treating him say they couldn't feel anything out of place or maybe even fractured, so they're going to retape him right now. But Ryan kept pointing to the kind of upper outside part of his ankle going, man, that is messed up right there. That is messed up. They're going to try to see if he can stand up, put some weight on it, let him play, but he is definitely in some pain.
That's a lateral sprain, which is better than a high ankle sprain. Of course, you're taking this from Dr. Millen here, Nabby.
Yes. The range of your talents never ceases to amaze me. Josh Oglesby doing a nice job filling in for Williams. We'll come back to Atlanta for the final quarter of 2009 from the Chick-fil-A Bowl. Capital One Bowl Week continues from the Chick-fil-A Bowl in Atlanta, one of the great bowl games in college football. And Virginia Tech leads by 10 as we go to the fourth quarter. Ryan Williams is back on his feet. That got a round of applause from the Hokie fans behind their bench. Virginia Tech with the only score, a touchdown of the third quarter. They averaged 10 yards per play in the third. Dominated the first and third, but Tennessee controlled the second quarter. Josh Oglesby ahead for a yard. Sharon Johnson, Ryan Williams' mother, very concerned. She gave her son a little wave as he got back on his feet after they taped him up again.
You okay? That's the mom. She wants to know how her baby's doing. Baby's a grown man, and he is a stud. She saw it right there. She was texting. She was probably texting me, but I'll answer it a little bit later.
Big third down here. Tennessee would love to force a field goal try. Deep handoff. Oglesby in trouble and stopped short of the first down. Good play by LaMarcus Thompson. Dan Williams also over there for the Vols, and Frank Beamer Wilson, the field goal unit on. He's had an excellent year from Matt Waldron, was first team all ACC as the place kicker. He's 1 for 1 tonight, and now 18 for 21 for the year, but his long is 41 yards.
This will be 46.
And this would be his longest of his career. And he hit it well. And it is good. So there's a career long for the senior from Oakfield, New York, Matt Waldron. And the good news for Tennessee, it's a field goal, not a touchdown. It's still a 2-score game. We're early in the fourth quarter here at the Chick-fil-a Bowl in Atlanta.
Hey, before we finish up 2009, time for your next Flomax Bowl update. We've had a busy New Year's Eve, the final day of the 09 season. Oklahoma and Stanford played a good one in the Brute Sun Bowl. DeMarco Murray over the top. Ryan Broyles had 156 yards receiving, 3 touchdown catches among his 13 grabs. And the Sooners win in a bowl game for the first time since 05 over Stanford. Air Force rolled, so did Navy, and Iowa State beat Minnesota in the Insight Bowl 14-13. Sean?
Thank you, Reese. As always, that steady stream of quality information on the Flomax Bowl update. Busy day on the bowl calendar.
Sean, the academies, 2 of them get big wins. I would expect next year that West Point will be in that mix. They were close this year. So all 3 of the academies had good years this year.
And the ACC hoping for a good night. They've lost the last 4 in this bowl game to the SEC head-to-head. This annually matches ACC and SEC. Last win for the ACC was Miami over Florida, New Year's Eve 2004 in this bowl game. Justin Meyer kicks off. And Eric Berry will try to give Tennessee a big return. They're down by 13 with 13 and a half to go. And he brought it to the 31, and let's send you right back to Reese.
So we'll start and stop action here. Travis Pastrana, starting to shoot. And how else would you get ready to try to break a record for the world's longest rally car jump? That's what Travis Pastrana will do in the Reds Bowl. New Year, no limits, coming up immediately after our game.
Hopefully that car will just keep going and going as he crosses the waters of Long Beach, California, around midnight Eastern time tonight. Montario Hardesty is the tailback. Hasn't been able to get it going tonight. With 29 yards rushing, he needed 159 to set their single season rushing mark. Offside.
Offside on the defense, number 95. The 5-yard penalty. It'll remain first down.
As Cordero Thompson inside, he's jumped a couple times. And he says it's on him, but here's the reality. They're only 2 scores behind. And a score right here for Tennessee and puts this whole thing right back, puts Tennessee right back in the middle of this whole thing.
In each of their last 4 regular season games, that Virginia Tech defense could not allow a point in the second half. Hardesty pulled down by Cody Grimm very near the first down marker. Now, they didn't play a very strong schedule down the stretch, but still, when you go 4 second halves in a row without allowing a point, that's saying something against East Carolina, Maryland, NC State, and Virginia.
Well, now you got Hardesty back in the lineup, and let's see if they don't go back to their play action and trying to hit behind those backers, because Virginia Tech is still dropping that 8th guy down.
Tech defense also held all 4 of those opponents I mentioned at 300 yards of total offense or less for the game, and Tennessee has just 197 tonight. Crompton stumbled as a man open.
Oh,
Denarius Moore lost the ball.
That was 6, Sean.
It sure was.
He had him, and that time they were in a 2 deep look, and they went with the play action, and he just ran right by the corner. Cam Chancellor, that's a safety rather, Cam Chancellor. Chancellor stopped his feet, and he got to the inside, and that is that's gonna make him sick.
Would have been a 59-yard touchdown for the junior from Tatum, Texas. He can't believe it. 2nd and 10. Crompton throws, has another man open. That time Gerald Jones hangs on. And give Crompton credit. He comes right back, makes a play for his team after a deflating moment. It goes to the 41-yard line of Tech, an 18-yard pickup.
Again, they're going to go with play action. You see they're going to drag him underneath to hold the corner, and then the safety's over the top. And this time, you know that Cam Chancellor, he's not going to give up anything. Cam Chancellor's going to get some depth and leave everything in front of him.
Yeah, they told us Crompton throws very well on the run, and he's done that tonight. Hardesty. His backup is Bryce Brown, one of the most highly recruited players in the country. Some recruiting services had Bryce Brown out of Wichita, Kansas, rated the #1 high school player in the country last year. With the season Hardesty's had, Brown hasn't seen a lot of playing time. He has had 101 carries. He hasn't seen any time tonight. He's been battling concussions. And Jim Chaney said he's reluctant to throw Brown out there where he really hasn't had any contact in quite a while.
We'll see a lot of Bryce Brown in the years to come, though.
Well, Lane Kiffin said he is going to be phenomenal.
That's a mistake by the left tackle. And that's Chris Scott. They were down and set, and the quarterback went to change.
On the offense, number 79. It's a 5-yard penalty. It'll remain 2nd down.
Yeah, he went to change at the line of scrimmage, and Chris Scott just stood up. You can't do that. Once you're set, you're set.
That's a veteran player. This is the 40th straight start for Chris Scott, former guard, now a tackle.
He just stepped like, what are you doing?
You mentioned how Tech hasn't done well in domes. Tennessee doesn't particularly like this building. They've lost 5 straight games in here. 3 SEC championship games and 2 Chick-fil-A Bowls. Crompton can't get away from Cody Grimm. Huge loss. They're going to mark it back at the 45-yard line of Tennessee.
Well, Bud Foster dialed up another blitz. And it's Cody Grimm, and he lines up in the slot, and then he's just going to come. And now, you said he couldn't get away from him. There's a long list of guys who have not been able to get away from Cody Grimm. Is he the biggest guy? No. Is he the fastest guy? No. Is he the toughest guy? No. But he has a great package and great instincts. This kid's a player.
Well, the Tennessee players said during the bowl activities they couldn't believe how small he was in person.
Yeah, exactly.
He's big on the field, that's for sure. Hardesty. The Tennessee fans booing that play call. 3rd down and 24. And Lindell Gibson took down Hardesty. Of course, the Volunteer fans have to be chagrined by that drop ball by Moore. And there's a look at Russ Grimm, Cody's dad. Won 3 Super Bowls and was a 4-time Pro Bowler.
An old teammate of mine and one of the smartest players I ever played with or against. And his son follows in those same footsteps.
Russ is coaching with the Arizona Cardinals now. They got a nice bounce on that punter, did they? No, it landed in the end zone, then came back. So it's a touchback off the foot of Chad Cunningham. Cody Grimm told us the best advice his dad ever gave him when it came to football: when in doubt, lay him out. And he does that with great regularity. That might be the play ball fans remember when this one is all said and done.
ESPN College Football, the Chick-fil-A Bowl, is brought to you by Porsche. See your local Porsche dealer. And Allstate, proud sponsor of college football and the Allstate Sugar Bowl. Are you in good hands?
Well, it's been a great week of fun, great eating for these teams here in Atlanta. And you and I had heard a lot about this bowl game before we arrived, how well run it is, the great charitable component here, but it has even surpassed our high expectations. Earlier tonight, check presentation down on the field. Scott McCune of Chick-fil-A Bowl, the chairman, Chick-fil-A Chief Marketing Officer Steve Robinson, presenting checks to the chancellors of the two schools. Last year they gave out $1.2 million to charity and scholarships from this bowl game. They've given out nearly $6 million over the last 8 years. At $1.2 million last year, the highest of any bowl. It is a beautifully run bowl game. Gary Stokin, the CEO, we commend all of them on another outstanding effort. And they should be really proud of what they do. They are very actively involved in this Atlanta community. Chick-fil-A founder, Chairman Truett Cathy, very involved in the College Football Hall of Fame, moving here next year. Started out as the Peach Bowl. The game was floundering for a little while. You know, there's not always great weather in Atlanta this time of the year, but with the construction of this beautiful Georgia Dome, the ACC-SEC component 18 years ago, and then Chick-fil-A jumping in and pumping the money it needed in, the charitable component. What an operation this is. I'm so impressed.
Well, I'm equally impressed, especially with Truett Cathy.
He's a character.
The octogenarian, had a meal with him last night. We had dinner, had a wonderful time sitting and talking to him. He's a car enthusiast. Was telling me about, you know, Bill Ford and the Fords that he collected. And he's talking about a bunch of things, but his golden rule that he has taken into business is consider one another more important than yourself. A man of strong faith. He takes that scripture and he applies it to business, and it's just flourished for him. Yes. They do a fantastic job, and if he could just get those cows to learn how to spell, he'd have it licked.
Third down, a long yard here for Virginia Tech, trying to milk the lead. And here's David Wilson, the freshman, powering for a first down out to the 42. Truett Cathy, I think he admitted to us last night he's 88 years old. And he's a self-made American success story. He was talking last night about selling peanuts when he was a very young boy at Bobby Dodd Stadium where Georgia Tech plays, selling Cokes for a nickel very early in his life, learning the benefit of sales, and then founded this wonderful company, Chick-fil-A, and has been very generous with his money, giving back to his new hometown here in Atlanta, the hometown of his headquarters, and college football.
He was a treat. I enjoyed him immensely. I knew that he's very down to earth. I knew that I liked him a lot after I started eating off his plate, he didn't mind.
David Wilson carries. Young man with blazing speed. He came in, they thought he might play. Earlier in the year, he was basically dividing time with Ryan Williams, but as Ryan's season took off, Wilson assumed more of a backup role, but he's been timed at 4.3 in the 40. He did 8 consecutive backflips at their media day over the summer. Very well-mannered young man, wears a shirt and tie to class every day at Virginia Tech, as he did when he was in high school. He got belted by Herman Lathers. And that'll bring up another third down and about 7. Holly?
Well, at practice yesterday, I was standing there talking to David Wilson, this running back for Virginia Tech, and Frank Beamer came over and put his arm around both of us and said, you know what you should be saying to her is that I'm going to be a really good back when I can stop running straight into people, that when I start going around people, I am going to be a really good back for Virginia Tech. Guys, 2 carries ago, you saw him go around. That time he went straight into. He's still learning it.
He's got a lot to learn, but he's got all the talent in the world.
An infectious personality. 5 straight carries for Wilson. Looks like Ryan Williams' night is likely over. Good seam pass. Nice run after the catch by Jarrett Boykin. And finally, they take him down. Chris Walker needed plenty of effort to corral him at the 24. 30-yard game, and Virginia Tech trying to put this one away with 6 minutes to go.
Well, it's not going to happen if David Wilson doesn't get his block there. And then the seam route, just like you said, gets to the inside in front of the safety, and it's very well thrown. Nicely protected, well thrown, and a big first down. David Wilson, one of the things he had to also learn is his protections. The same thing that Ryan Williams had to learn a year ago.
This is the second pass of the second half for Tyrod Taylor. Played a very efficient game tonight. Hands it off to Dyrell Roberts. Turns the corner. He lowered his shoulder inside the 5 and banged into Dennis Rogan. It'll be first and goal Hokies at the 3.
What a great fake by Tyrod Taylor. And he just kind of okey-doked. I want you to watch the end. Stand right here. He has no idea. Watch. He's watching. He still doesn't know where it's at. And around comes Darrell Roberts, and he's down the right sideline for a big first down. And it can confuse anybody. Here's Eric Berry. He's still looking back inside. Well executed.
21-yard game. And Tyrod Taylor's always had the talent. He's putting it all together now here at the end of his junior year. First and goal. Wilson stopped running into people and ran into the end zone.
Holly, Coach Beamer would have loved that one.
Makes it 33-14. And Virginia Tech, it appears, and this is hard to believe, will win bowl games in consecutive years for the first time in school history. Back-to-back bowl wins. They won the Orange Bowl last season, and they're on their way to winning this Chick-fil-A Bowl and giving the ACC their first win in 5 years in the Chick-fil-A. Waldron the extra point. David Wilson, the freshman, with his 4th rushing touchdown of the season, and they're playing like a champion, the Hokies in Atlanta. All right, Joe Tessitore, thank you. We'll look forward to that. Ryan Williams being congratulated by his teammates. His night is over, and he will set the single-season Virginia Tech rushing record. Holly?
Well, just a few moments ago, Ryan Williams came over and was talking to his sports information director, Brian Johnson, and he said, hey, did I get the record? And he said, yeah, you got him. And he put his arms in the air, let out a big whoop, and then the first thing he did, guys, it was so cute, is he ran over to his offensive lineman and gave each and every offensive lineman a great big hug. He's celebrating, but he did not forget the guys who got him there. That was really cute.
Holly, there's no cute in football.
Well, he has the single-season rushing record that Virginia Tech broke Kevin Jones's mark. Needed 110. He got 117 tonight, giving him 1,655 for the year. He had 2 touchdowns, giving him 22 total for the year. That's the ACC season record. And 21 rushing touchdowns. That's also the ACC single-season record. David Oku bringing back the kickoff from Justin Meyer. And he's down to the 25. ABC is your home for both the Rose Bowl game and the City BCS National Championship. Tomorrow, 4:30 Eastern, the granddaddy of them all. Number 8, Ohio State. Number 7, Oregon in the Rose Bowl. Then on Thursday, January 7th at 8, Colt McCoy at number 2, Texas, facing Heisman winner Mark Ingerman. Number 1, Alabama in the City BCS National Championship game. The SEC is 5-0 in BCS championship game. Texas leads the all-time series, however, against Alabama. 7-0-1. They haven't played since the '82 Cotton Bowl. Ball's out. Crompton down, ball out. Ball recovered by John Graves. Virginia Tech football. Jason Worrells knocked it out. 5th sack for Tech.
And this is what Virginia Tech had been waiting for all game long. To get Tennessee in an obvious passing situation and let Jason Worrells go to work. You watch him just coming off this edge. They use a tight end in there, and then he just goes right around the freshman and just beats him. It's really well done. Aaron Douglas is the guy who's trying to block him, but it was just speed, and then Graves falls on it.
This is a Tennessee offensive line that had given up only 12 sacks the entire regular season, best in the SEC. They've given up 5 tonight. Tennessee 4 possessions in the second half, 3 punts, and now a lost fumble. Oglesby for Virginia Tech. This is their 4th possession of the second half. On the first 3, they've had 2 touchdowns and a field goal.
I think Lane Kiffin has some good young players, but he also has a void in his scholarship. And I think, you know, it's not something he would want to talk about or any of the coaches want to talk about, but it's the reality. And so they lost some guys, and it's going to take some time to fill them. You don't just go out and get more scholarships. And so they've got some good young players, but they're losing some seniors. And so there's going to be a little bit of rebuilding here for next year.
Well, they're down about 23 scholarships from where they could be. You're allowed 85 at this level. They've had a number of players leave the program. Josh Oglesby, the ball carrier. And Matt, he is concerned about next year because he said, we don't have a lot of high draft pick seniors, but our seniors are productive. There are a lot of important seniors on this team, and the 2 classes behind them aren't really loaded up with talent, and you're limited by how many freshmen you can bring in each year. You can't replace all those missing players in one recruiting class. So he thinks they could take a step back next year.
Well, and here's the good news, though. The first year, you're learning your players, and your players are learning you as a head coach and what the expectations are and how you practice and all those things. And then they have to learn the system as well, and that takes time. So that part, the learning curve part, is over. And now you just got to go back and you got to get players. You can have great coaching. You've got to have the players to match.
And that really is what Lane Kiffin is known for, among other things, recruiting. That's what you have to do if you're going to be successful. And it's been an up and down first year for him. He certainly has learned a lot at 34, the youngest coach in the country. Got himself in trouble from time to time, made a few enemies with some of his words. The NCAA is looking into some situations involving recruiting. It will be an interesting future with Lane Kiffin at the helm.
I'll tell you what he does have, though. He's got an excellent staff. And his dad, Monty, is one of the best teaching coaches I've been around. And he's excellent at teaching young coaches. And so you're going to have the coaching. That'll be in place. And they'll work hard at the recruiting. And, yeah, there's going to be a couple bumps in the road. But I think it's a good choice. And I think it's a good football coach and a good staff.
Virginia Tech has called a timeout. Lonnie Kiffin said, I wasn't going to come out of the NFL and into college just to coach with my son. He said, I know my son pretty well. We spent time together, a lot of it over the years. But he said the fact that it was Tennessee was also what made it very appealing for Monty. But I haven't recruited in 26 years. Legendary NFL defensive coordinator, the Tampa 2. The great defenses the last 13 years in Tampa. Briefly a head coach at NC State in college football. He told us the story the other day. Hadn't recruited in 26 years. He goes on a trip with Ed Orgeron as the recruiting coordinator in Memphis. And Ed says, I will meet you in the lobby at 5:30 in the morning. And Monty said, what? He said, yeah, we need to be the first people at the school. They got to this school in Memphis. And it was still, there's Ed Orgeron next to Monty. It was still pitch black outside. But one of the reasons Ed Orgeron's such a great recruiter, he is relentless.
Oh, he will work you to death. He will not be outworked. And really, that's this whole staff.
Matt Waldron kicks the field goal, 22-yarder, and the lead grows. 37-14. The Hokies in command with 2:38 to go. Back in Atlanta for the final 2:38 of the Chick-fil-A Bowl, and when we're done here on ESPN, stay tuned for Red Bull New Year No Limits. Travis Pastrana with the big jump. To wrap up with this game, you can catch us on ESPN News with the postgame extra and on the ESPN360.com. Live coverage of the Chick-fil-A Bowl Trophy presentation. George Crumbly Trophy, named for the founder of this great bowl game, who passed away in September at age 86. Already started with the Gatorade bats on the Virginia Tech sideline. They're about to win bowl games, consecutive bowl games, for the first time in school history. Hard to believe, but this will just be the 9th win ever for Virginia Tech in a bowl game. They'll be 9-14 all time. David Oku with the return to the 28. Of course, the attention will shift soon to the national title game. Both of these teams played Alabama and played them tough. September 5th, Mark Ingram, a 6-yard touchdown in the fourth quarter. 18-yard reception to put the game away for Alabama. 34-24 was the final. And then Tennessee lost a heartbreaker on October 24th. They had 2 field goals blocked, including a game-winning attempt by Daniel Lincoln. Terrence Cody blocked it in memorable style. Time expired. The Tide won 12-10. So 2 of the toughest games Alabama had this year were against these 2 teams. Against Virginia Tech, it was right here in the Georgia Dome.
And that was right at the beginning. And Virginia Tech is a much better team now than they were then. And so is Alabama. That's a very well-coached team. They play excellent defense. Ingram, of course, has won the Heisman Trophy, and with good reason. But they're going against a Texas team that's got a lot of good players. Colt McCoy, you know he can throw the football. They got Shipley as a receiver on the outside. Sergio Kendall, a defensive end who can rush the passer. So certainly the players are there. It's another well-coached team. I just think it's going to be a great football game. Watching all the teams this year on tape, I thought that Alabama was the best team that I saw all season long.
And it's interesting because they might have been the best team. I thought the most talented team that we saw in person when you went position by position was Texas. They have a lot of talent on both sides of the ball.
They do, and they show up. Well, they got a young secondary that's got a lot of skills. They don't make a lot of mistakes, but they do make big plays on the ball. So I just think it's going to be fantastic. Looking forward to it.
It should be fun to watch. Meanwhile, here in Atlanta, you have to continue to have appreciation for the consistent excellence of Virginia Tech under Frank Beamer. Gerald Jones, the catch, and he hustles out of bounds, chased out by J. Ron Hosley. This will be the 6th straight year of 10 wins or more for Virginia Tech, and that'll be the 2nd longest streak of its kind in the country. That was very important to the players to get that win for Frank Beamer in this program.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, he's a wonderful guy, and the only other team that's got a longer streak now of 10-win seasons that's active is Texas. This is their 9th straight year of 10 wins or more. And Virginia Tech is terrific every year. And some of their fans are frustrated. They want to win the national championship. Well, everybody wants to win the national championship, but they should appreciate what they have, because they have, without question, one of the very top programs in the country.
And I think if you fast forward to next year, this is going to be one of those teams that will have a very high position in the preseason polls. There's some good young players here with experience. Ooh, that could have been a pick going out the other way. And that was J. Ron Hosley, and that's one of the guys. There are guys like this who are just sitting on this roster, just need some experience, that have big-time playability. Now, they're going to lose some seniors, but this is an excellent football team in position to do well next year.
A lot of talent coming back. The 12th straight season of 8 wins or more. Hardesty rumbling through the secondary, and he's down to the 20-yard line. And give Tennessee credit, they're fighting all the way to the end. That's a 26-yard game.
Well, I'll be anxious to see just exactly how they run their backfield next year, because there's a lot of good runners.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting. With Ryan Williams coming back, we mentioned earlier they're going to get Darren Evans back from the knee injury, who rushed for 1,200 plus last year. They have Oglesby and David Wilson back. It's a nice problem to have.
Better believe it.
Reese Davis, we bring you back in from our studio. Happy New Year, friend.
Happy New Year, Sean and Matt. Travis Pastrana will attempt to break the record for the longest rally car jump, and he's going to do it over water. Red Bull, New Year, no limit. Coming up just as soon as you guys finish in Atlanta.
I'm nervous for him.
Yeah, that stuff, you know, sometimes you think a guy who's going to do that, you hold the candle in one ear and blow through the other ear, it will go out. But he's got to go do it.
And he'll ring in the new year. Then we have more football for you tomorrow. Great day just to flop on that couch. Capital One Bowl Week continues early tomorrow morning. He'll talk softly for you at 11 a.m. Eastern Time from the Outback Bowl, Northwestern and Auburn. And then at 1 on ABC, Penn State and LSU. Capital One Bowl Week tomorrow on ESPN and ABC. So the SEC still has 7 more teams in action in bowl season yet. A lot of their teams have yet to play their bowl game. Corey Sullen, senior, playing his last game, moved.
Ball start on the offense, number 69. The 5-yard penalty. It'll remain second down.
And that's a great story. The Sullens twins, identical twins, lifelong Tennessee fans from Cottonwood, Tennessee, walked on under Philip Fulmer, and as seniors finally got a chance to play and start side by side on an offensive line that acquitted itself very well this year.
And do pretty well. And don't make a lot of mistakes and get after your playing and play out.
Compton going to get hit after he delivers. He threw a nice ball, and it's incomplete.
Oh, that was a great ball. And he was throwing it in here to Denarius Moore.
I think that was the key to the ball game. They were down by 13. He threw a perfect long bomb to a wide open Moore. Would have been a 59-yard touchdown. He dropped it. And that seemed to take the wind out of the sails. Would have been a 1-touchdown game and a very competitive game. And they never did get back within a score.
Well, he had some pressure, and Moore, that's going to haunt him, because you're exactly right, Sean. That would have brought him right back into the middle of the game and changed a bunch of the momentum.
This Virginia Tech defense, you know, they'd like to keep their opponents scoreless in the second half of the 5th game in a row. Crompton scrambling around and throws it away. Bud Foster, that's more good news that he's staying, because he seriously considered leaving. He didn't get a raise. He's already making about $400,000 a year, which makes him one of the highest paid assistants in the country. But they did add an annuity. If he stays another 5 years, he's going to get a very nice lump sum at the end of that 5 years. And you have to think, as long as he's been there now, he might as well keep staying there unless he gets one of those great head coaching jobs. It's hard to believe he hasn't been offered one of those by now.
Yeah, and it's probably coming. He has them very well coached. This defense doesn't make a lot of mistakes.
And they have avoided at Virginia Tech the coach in waiting designation. That's not part of his deal to stay. Tennessee calls timeout. The fans don't like it. A lot of them want to get the trophy presentation over with so they can get on their way to ring in the new year at a local establishment. Been good times lately. The Virginia Tech basketball team is off to an 11-1 start under Seth Greenberg. Best start since 1995-96. They've played a soft schedule, to be kind, so far. But 11-1 is 11-1, and they are going to play Seton Hall on January 2nd on ESPN2 from Cancun. I talked to Bill Roth, their outstanding radio announcer, who's worried because his flight tomorrow to Cancun has already been canceled. So he's scrambling to find a way to get to Cancun.
That's a tough one to take.
Yeah, tough for him. A longtime great voice of the Hokies. Crompton is swung down by Dorian Porch. And Virginia Tech will take it over on down. 6th sack of the night. You're going to get shorter sleeves New Year. You keep brushing your telestrator over here. We're getting these little lines and dots on the screen.
That says it all right there. See that? That was a tough night for the Vols.
Now you'd have to expect they'll take a knee. Interesting to see if they play down the road. Both schools have schedules that are filled out for a long time. But they're only 3.5 hours drive apart. Frank Beamer was telling us a couple years ago, the folks who own the Bristol Speedway tried to get them to play a game in Bristol, Tennessee, between the two campuses, with the idea they might put as many as 160,000 fans in there to watch the game. But because of the way the speedways are built, the fans would have been a long way from the football field.
Yeah,
and it never happened, but that would have been interesting had it come off. And they're not going to snap it again. Back-to-back bowl wins for the first time in Virginia Tech football history, and Lane Kiffin goes down to defeat in his first game in a bowl as a head coach. And his first season up and down in many ways at the University of Tennessee will end at 7-6. And Frank Beamer gets that 6th straight 10-win season. And they'll finish at 10-3 as champions of the Chick-fil-A Bowl. Let's go down to Holly Rowe. She's right there with Frank Beamer.
Frank Beamer just asking Ryan Williams if he's okay. It seems like he's okay, Coach, because he set a new record for freshman rushers. But there was a point in this game right before the half where Tennessee started taking some momentum. How did you stop that in the second half?
Well, you know, it's players, and we talked about you got to be mentally tough and physically tough. You know, we didn't ever think it was going to be easy. We're playing a good football team. I'm so proud of the way our football team came back out. The offense took the ball down the field and scored. Those are big, big scores. And this guy right here and those runs on that first drive, that was, I think that was huge in the ball game, taking back over the momentum.
You did that with that huge pass play right before the half. How gutsy was it for that call?
Well, we've kind of throwing it up. We, you know, and we got a great catch down the field, and you know, I think that really kind of swung the momentum back. You know, all of a sudden they scored on us twice, and we go in at halftime lead. So that's a big play.
All right, well, some other big plays are from this young man right here, Ryan Williams. And Brian, you got the record tonight, but I know more important to you is the win. Where did you feel like your team really seized this win?
Right after that pass to Jay Boykins, I think we just kind of took the whole momentum of the whole crowd. I mean, this wasn't a crowd of burnt orange. You know, it was the powder orange, and it was the whole Tennessee crowd out here. So I mean, we took the whole momentum and we just left from there.
You were injured a little bit earlier in this game. How did you fight through that?
Football. I mean that's what it is. I mean, when you're a football player, you got to fight through little nagging injuries, and that's what I did. And I came out here to ball and play my game.
All right, I got to ask you, what's going to be your New Year's resolution? You had a pretty good year last year. How do you bring in the new one?
Keep staying focused. That's it. Stay focused, and that's how I'm gonna bring in the new year.
All right, thank you very much.
Ryan Williams, single season Virginia Tech rushing record, ACC touchdown marks as well. Final score 37-14. The Hokies, your Chick-fil-A Bowl champs. Coming up next, Red Bowl, New Year, no limits. For complete wrap-up of this game, ESPN News in a few moments. And a live coverage of the trophy ceremony. Log on to ESPN360.com. Now for Matt Millen, Holly Rowe, and our entire crew. Sean McDonough saying, Happy New Year, everybody, from Atlanta. Let's get you out to Joe Tessitore and Marcellus Wiley in Long Beach for Red Bull, New Year, no limits.